Welcome to the deep dive. You send us your sources, and we dig into them to pull out the essential knowledge, those aha moments, basically helping you feel well-informed without getting buried in information.
Exactly. We're kind of like your guides, pointing out the really key stuff and, why it actually matters.
Okay, so today we're tackling a request about advanced English phrases for everyday conversations. It's based on a YouTube video transcript from English with Kayla.
Kayla. Right, and this transcript is, wow, it's really detailed. It goes all the way from phrases that seem basic but have these subtle uses, right up to master-level stuff and even current slang.
So the mission here, for you listening, is really navigating the subtleties of advanced English. We want to move past just the dictionary definitions.
And get into how these phrases actually sound natural, how they're used in real life.
Yeah, exactly. It's about understanding not just the words, but the feeling, the cultural context behind them.
Which helps you understand spoken English on a whole different level.
Okay, let's dive in. We'll start with some phrases Kayla calls elementary, but they've got layers. First one, slips someone's mind.
Ah, yes. So the transcript explains this is when you forget something, but unintentionally. You didn't mean to.
Like you suddenly realize, oh shoot, the milk, or I completely forgot to call Sarah back. It just slipped my mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It emphasizes it wasn't deliberate, just a temporary lapse. It feels less like an excuse and more like, well, it just happened.
Good point. Okay, next up, make a difference. This sounds straightforward.
Well, yes and no. It means to cause a change, obviously, but the transcript highlights that, especially in American English, it usually implies a positive change, a good impact.
Ah, okay, so it's loaded with that positive feeling.
Pretty much. Think about the examples. Recycling helps the planet. Donating helps people in need. You're making a positive difference. It's good to be aware of that implied optimism when you use it or hear it.
That's a really useful nuance. It's not just any change. Okay, moving on to intermediate phrases. We have connect with someone.
Right. And this isn't about physical connection. It's about talking, getting along, building some kind of rapport or bond.
Like forming a friendship or just having a good interaction.
Yeah, and the negative is quite telling too, isn't it? I just don't connect with them. It really highlights that lack of positive feeling or understanding.
The example of good teachers connecting with students really makes sense there. It's about that positive link.
Exactly. It's more than just talking at someone. Okay, next.
Chip in. This makes me think of pooling money for a pizza or something.
Totally. And that's a common use, contributing money. Like for a workplace birthday gift, everyone chips in a few bucks.
But it's broader than just cash, right?
Absolutely. The transcript notes it can be about contributing effort too. Like, can everyone chip in with cleaning up or helping in the kitchen? It's about that shared effort towards a goal.
Got it. Collective contribution. Then there's stall. This one seems to have a couple of meanings.
It does. The main idea is delaying or stopping something. Sometimes it's intentional, like you stall for time during a presentation if your tech fails. But sometimes it's unintentional, like my car just stalled. It just stopped working.
So it can be something you do or something that just happens.
Exactly. And you also hear stop stalling.
Yeah.
Telling someone to stop delaying. It covers both angles.
Okay, that makes sense. Moving up a level, advanced intermediate. First, keep something short. This seems pretty clear.
Yeah, it's straightforward. Make it brief. Don't take up too much time.
Yeah.
It often signals you're being considerate of the other person's time.
I know you're busy, so I'll keep this short.
Precisely. It shows respect for their schedule, aims for efficiency.
Okay. Then pop in on someone. Sounds quite casual.
Very casual. It means to visit someone, usually informally, often without much warning, and just for a little while.
Like your family swinging by unexpectedly.
Yeah, they just popped in on their way through town. It has that spontaneous, light feel.
Nice. And the last one here is hinder someone something. This sounds negative.
Definitely negative. It means to slow something down, obstruct it, make it more difficult.
Like bad weather hindering travel plans.
Perfect example. Or maybe, I don't know, lack of resources hindering a project's progress. It implies an obstacle getting in the way of what you want to do.
Okay, got it. Now for the advanced phrases. First up, exotic. This one needs careful handling, doesn't it?
It really does. So technically it means unusual, unfamiliar, maybe from a foreign place. But as the transcript rightly warns, calling a person exotic can be, rude. It can make them feel like an object, an other. It has some uncomfortable historical baggage tied to objectification.
Whereas calling food exotic is generally okay, like trying unfamiliar dishes.
Usually, yeah. That's more about the novelty of the taste or origin. It really shows how context is everything with a word like this. Use with caution when referring to people.
Good advice. Next, give something a shot. This sounds positive, encouraging.
It is. It means to try something, give it a chance, approach it with an open mind.
Like you've never done yoga. Oh, give it a shot.
Exactly that feeling. Or even if you're not sure you'll succeed, like applying for a job you feel underqualified for. Well, might as well give it a shot. It's about trying despite uncertainty.
I like that. Okay, then beneath you. This feels a bit hierarchical.
It can be, yeah. It implies something isn't worthy of your status, your skills, your attention. You're too good for it.
Like the example of a new assistant feeling that getting coffee is beneath them.
Right, that's the common negative use, suggesting someone feels a task is below their station.
But the host in the video shared a different view.
Yeah, she mentioned doing janitorial work and feeling no work was truly beneath her. So it highlights that what feels beneath someone is subjective, tied to personal values or ego, maybe societal views.
Interesting perspective. Okay, fluent level. All in on something. Sounds like total commitment.
That's exactly it. Fully committed, fully dedicated, enthusiastic support.
Like a boss saying, okay, team, new plan, I'm all in.
Yep. Shows complete buy-in and enthusiasm.
Then glowing, usually a compliment.
Oh, absolutely. It means someone looks really happy, healthy, radiant, confident.
Often used for pregnant women, but not exclusively.
Not at all. Kayla points out you can say someone is glowing after a relaxing vacation or, when they're just really happy and it shows. It's that look of vitality.
Nice. Okay. Can get along without it. This implies managing okay, even if something's missing.
Exactly. You can cope, you can be successful, even without something you might normally want or need.
Like coffee. Some people feel they can't function, but technically.
Right. You can get along without it, even if you really, really prefer not to. It suggests adaptability, resilience for non-essential things.
Makes sense. And the last one for fluent, have ties to someone, something. Connections, basically.
Yes, having links or connections. And it can be neutral, positive, or negative, depending on the context.
So like criminals having ties to a gang.
That's the negative example. But then professionals might have ties to different companies or industries, which is usually neutral or even positive. It just shows a connection exists.
Gotcha. Okay, master level. First, slogan. We all know these.
Yeah, short, memorable phrase, usually for advertising or branding. Think Nike's "Just Do It."
Or McDonald's, I'm loving it. Instantly recognizable.
Exactly. Designed to stick in your head and identify something quickly.
Next, build rapport with someone. Super important in life and work.
Absolutely. It means actively establishing trust, a connection, a harmonious relationship.
Salespeople try to do this. Sometimes genuinely, sometimes not.
Right. The transcript mentions that caution. But it's crucial for genuine relationships with colleagues, neighbors, anyone really. It's about building that mutual understanding and trust.
Definitely. Okay, the talk of the town sounds like gossip central.
It can be, but not always negative. It just means something, or someone is generating a lot of buzz and discussion within a specific community. It doesn't have to be a literal town.
Like a new, really impressive employee might become the talk of the office.
Exactly. It signifies that widespread local interest.
And the last master phrase, keep something to yourself. A polite way to say shh.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It means keep it secret, keep it private. It's just a gentler, softer way than saying, don't tell anyone.
Nice. Okay. Brace yourself. Slang time. First one. It's a flop.
Oh yeah. Common one. Means something failed, didn't live up to the hype, was disappointing.
Like a movie everyone was excited about, but it turned out to be terrible.
Perfect example. Or a party that nobody came to. Just a flop.
Anticlimactic.
Got it. Then I'm unwell. This isn't about being sick, is it?
No, not literally. It's that funny, dramatic way of saying you're overwhelmed by emotion shock, excitement, confusion, amusement.
Like seeing a crazy plot twist in a show or amazing engagement photos.
Exactly. Oh my God, I'm unwell.
Yeah.
Pure exaggeration for effect. Playful.
Okay. Next.
Yep, yeah.
This one's evolved, hasn't it?
It really has. Used to be for dogs, like small dogs barking incessantly.
Now, it's commonly used for people talking a lot, often about things that aren't very important or serious, just kind of rambling on.
Like mindless chatter on social media or colleagues just yapping about their weekend.
Yeah. But Kayla wisely adds a note of caution. It's very informal and can sound a bit dismissive, so Probably best not to use it about someone unless you know them well.
Good tip. Okay, take an L. The L is for loss.
Correct. Taking an L means experiencing a loss, a failure, a setback, missing out.
Like missing out on concert tickets or forgetting your lunch at home.
Yep, those everyday little defeats. Ah, well, took the L on that one.
Right. Oh, here's a big one. Give someone the ick. This is everywhere lately.
It really is. It's that sudden feeling where you are attracted to someone or finding them okay, and then they do one thing.
And boom, instant repulsion.
Pretty much. That sudden turn off. The transcript mentions things like using a baby voice or bragging excessively about money, things that could just instantly give you the ick. The attraction just evaporates.
Fascinating phenomenon. Okay, catfish someone. Thanks to that TV show, most people know this one.
Exactly. Creating a fake online profile, a whole fake persona, usually to trick someone romantically online.
Happens a lot on dating apps, unfortunately.
It definitely. It's become a standard term for that kind of online deception.
Then the OG. Original gangster, but used more broadly.
Yeah, the gangster part is mostly historical now. It means the original, the first, the classic, the legendary version of something.
Like debating who's the basketball OG, LeBron or Jordan, or saying classic Nikes are the OG sneakers.
Exactly. It denotes that sense of being the first or the benchmark. Respect.
Got it. It's giving vibe. This is a very current construction.
Very current. You use it to describe the overall feeling, the aesthetic, the impression something is putting out there.
So that red dress is giving elegance, or his presentation was giving unprepared.
Perfect. You just slot in the adjective or noun phrase describing the vibe. It's grammatically interesting, too, using giving that way.
It is. Okay, another strange one. Something ate. Not literal eating.
Definitely not. It's a huge compliment. It means someone did something exceptionally well, flawlessly, with incredible style or skill.
Like her performance ate, or you ate with that outfit.
Exactly. It's high praise in current slang. The transcript suggests it's iconic as a slightly less slangy alternative if you want a similar impact.
Good to know. Something lives rent-free in my head. Oh, I feel this one.
We all do. It means you can't stop thinking about something. It's just stuck in there, occupying your mental space, often something unimportant, embarrassing, or maybe a catchy song.
It's like that awkward thing you said 3 years ago, or that one annoying jingle.
Precisely. It's just there, taking up space, rent-free.
Okay, give someone side eye. Non-verbal judgment.
Yep. That sideways glance that screams disapproval, suspicion, or judgment without you having to say a word. Very powerful.
It is. Make a beeline. Sounds very direct.
It is. Means to go straight towards something quickly and with purpose. Like you're super thirsty and make a beeline for the water fountain.
Or shoppers on Black Friday making a beeline for the discounted TVs.
Yeah.
Exactly. Direct, motivated movement.
Get off scot-free.
Yeah.
Escaping consequences.
That's it. Doing something wrong, maybe even illegal, and facing absolutely no punishment or negative outcome. Getting away with it completely.
Okay. Put a name to the face. The joy of finally meeting someone you've only known virtually.
Totally. Or someone you've heard a friend talk about constantly. You finally meet them in person, and you can connect the name and the stories to the actual person.
Satisfying moment. Get a kick out of it. Finding something funny.
Yeah, finding something amusing, enjoyable, getting a bit of entertainment from it.
Like getting a kick out of watching funny cat videos.
Exactly. Simple, lighthearted enjoyment.
Go in one ear and out the other. We've all been guilty of this.
Yeah.
Or victims of it.
For sure. Information just doesn't stick. You hear it, but it's not processed or remembered at all. Just passes straight through.
Happens to students in lectures sometimes, maybe.
Or when you're just not paying attention. Yeah.
Miffed. Sounds quite gentle.
It is. Just slightly annoyed, a bit irritated or put out. Not furious, just miffed. Like if your neighbors were being a bit noisy or you didn't get invited to a party you expected to.
Yeah, those kinds of minor annoyances.
Eye-opening. This implies a revelation, right?
Definitely. Something surprising that really changes your perspective or makes you realize something important you didn't know before.
Like hearing a shocking statistic about poverty could be eye-opening.
Exactly. It shifts your understanding.
All set.
This little phrase does a lot of work.
It really does. It can mean ready, prepared, finished, complete. I don't need anything else. Very versatile.
Like, are you all set for the storm? Or, at a shop, are you all set here? Meaning, ready to pay.
Yep. Context tells you which meaning fits. Super common.
Have a history with someone usually implies baggage.
Often, yeah. It suggests a past relationship or interaction that was complicated, maybe problematic. There's some unresolved stuff there, potentially negative.
Not just we knew each other, but something more fraught.
Generally, yes. It hints at difficulties.
Okay. Bait someone, trying to get a reaction. Exactly. Deliberately provoking someone, trying to get them angry or make them say something specific, often happens in online arguments.
Like trying to bait someone into a political debate.
Yep. Intentional provocation.
Blow someone off. Sounds dismissive.
Very dismissive and disrespectful. It means ignoring someone deliberately or canceling plans last minute without a good reason, showing you don't value their time or feelings.
Like not texting a friend back repeatedly or just flaking on plans.
Yeah, it's not a nice thing to do.
Agreed. Get over something. The recovery process.
Right. Recovering emotionally from something difficult. A breakup, an illness, a disappointment, a loss, moving past it.
It takes time, doesn't it?
It really does. It's a process.
Not a care in the world. Sounds lovely, but maybe naive?
It can be both. It means being completely carefree, unbothered by anything. Lovely when you see kids playing like that.
But if an adult seems to have not a care in the world when there are serious problems,
then it can seem oblivious or irresponsible. Context matters again.
Punchline, the funny bit of a joke. Usually.
But it can also mean the target of ridicule. Like, their terrible performance became the punchline of the office jokes. Or even a country's policies becoming a punchline.
Being the butt of the joke, essentially. Are you with me? Just checking for understanding.
Yep. Simple way to ask, do you follow? Do you understand what I'm saying? Keeps everyone on the same page.
Useful in explanations. Get out of doing something. Dodging responsibility.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Finding an excuse or a way to avoid doing something you don't want to do, like a chore or a social obligation.
Like trying to get out of going to that family gathering.
We've all been there.
Can't help it. Lack of control.
Right. You can't control it. Like, I keep coughing, I can't help it.
And the opposite, if I can't help it.
Means if I have any control over the situation, like I won't be late if I can help it, suggests you'll try to control it.
Subtle but important difference. Bow down to someone. Modern praise.
Yeah, it's that informal, often humorous, exaggerated way to show massive admiration or praise. Like, wow, that meal was amazing. I bow down to your cooking skills.
Or, her fashion sense is incredible. We all bow down.
Exactly. Over-the-top respect, usually playfully.
Reach out. Initiating contact.
Yep. Making contact, communicating, often to offer help or support, or just to connect.
Like reaching out to a friend who's having a tough time, or reaching out to schedule a meeting.
Exactly. Simple initiation of communication.
Beyond belief. For emphasis, good or bad.
Totally. It just ramps up the intensity. Something was so incredibly good or so incredibly bad, it was hard to believe.
I was disappointed beyond belief, or the view was beautiful beyond belief.
Perfect examples. Strong emphasis.
Go-getter. Sounds very driven.
It is. Someone ambitious, motivated, proactive, who actively pursues their goals. A real self-starter.
Good quality to highlight in a job interview, perhaps.
Definitely. And language learners often have to be go-getters.
True. Talk someone out of something. Persuasion not to do something.
Right. Trying to convince someone not to follow through on a plan or decision, usually because you think it's a bad idea.
Like trying to talk your friend out of quitting their job before they have a new one lined up.
Exactly that. Offering reasons why they shouldn't.
Set your mind to something. Commitment.
Full commitment and determination. Once you've set your mind to it, you're focused on achieving that goal or holding that opinion.
Like setting your mind to running a marathon or setting your mind to learning French.
Yep. Shows strong resolve.
Natural born. Innate talent.
That's the idea. Someone who seems inherently skilled at something right from the start. A natural-born leader, a natural-born musician.
Suggests it comes easily to them.
Right. Less about practice, more about inherent ability.
Fall short of a goal. Just missing the mark.
Exactly. You aimed for something, but didn't quite achieve it. You fell short.
Like falling short of your target time in a race, or a company falling short of its sales goals.
Yep. The transcript also mentions missed the mark as a similar phrase.
Okay. Haunted by something. Sounds quite intense.
It is. It means you're constantly disturbed or preoccupied by something, usually negative. A past failure, a regret, a traumatic event.
Like being haunted by missing that race time, or haunted by memories of an accident?
Yes. It suggests a persistent, troubling mental preoccupation.
Easier said than done.
The classic acknowledgement of difficulty.
Exactly. Talking about doing something is easy, but actually doing it is hard.
Like, I'm going to quit social media. easier said than done. Or just stay calm during the interview.
Ah, yes. Perfect examples. Acknowledges the practical challenge.
Where there's a will, there's a way. The optimist's mantra.
It really is. If you have the determination, the desire, the will, you'll find a method to achieve your goal. Very positive, emphasizes determination.
Nice one. Heck of a something. Informal emphasis again.
Yep, just adds punch. That was a heck of a workout. Or, those are a heck of a pair of shoes. Makes it sound more impressive or noteworthy. Very casual.
Yeah, someone's a trooper, complimenting resilience. Yes, exactly. It's slang for someone who endures a difficult situation patiently and without complaining much.
Like the kids being troopers on a long car ride.
Perfect. Acknowledges their resilience in a tough spot.
Find the motivation.
Yeah.
That struggle sometimes.
Oh, yeah. It's about getting that spark, that drive, that enthusiasm to actually start doing something, especially something you don't really feel like doing, like cleaning.
The eternal quest to find the motivation.
Indeed.
Invest in something. Putting in resources for future benefit.
Right. Could be money, like investing in stocks, but also time or effort, like investing in learning a new skill or investing in good quality winter running gear so you can train comfortably.
Ah, so it pays off later.
That's the idea.
Top of the line, the best quality.
Yep. The highest quality, the most expensive, the most advanced model available. Top of the line equipment.
Got it. Get bundled up, winter phrase.
Totally. Means putting on lots of warm clothes, hat, scarf, gloves, thick coat to protect yourself from the cold. Bundling up.
Essential for cold climates. Pumped. Slang for excited.
Exactly. Really excited, enthusiastic, energized about something. I'm so pumped for the concert tonight. Very informal.
Couldn't be more excited. Another way to say very excited.
Yeah, really natural, common phrase to express strong enthusiasm. Sounds genuine.
Okay. And the flip side, bummer. Or let down, expressing disappointment.
Right. Simple, informal ways to say something is disappointing or didn't meet your hopes. Oh, the event was canceled. That's a bummer. Or I feel really let down.
Got it. In no time means quickly.
Very quickly or much faster than expected. Don't worry, we'll be there in no time. Or like kids growing up. They grow up in no time.
It does feel like that sometimes. Nailed it. Slang for doing well.
Yep. Informal way to say you did something perfectly successfully. Got it exactly right. How was the presentation? Nailed it.
Nice. On a tight budget. Polite way to talk about money limits.
Exactly. A softer, more tactful way to say you don't have much money to spend right now. We need a cheap vacation. We're on a tight budget.
Okay. Costs a fortune. Exaggeration for expensive.
Yes. Emphasizes that something is really, really expensive. Perhaps surprisingly so.
Wow. Groceries cost a fortune these days.
They do. Can't wait. Simple excitement.
Yeah. Straightforward way to show strong anticipation and eagerness for something future. I can't wait for the weekend.
I'm all for it. Showing strong agreement.
Complete agreement and enthusiasm for an idea or plan. You want to get pizza? I'm all for it.
Sounds good to me. There's no doubt about it that strong certainty.
Absolutely. Expressing 100% certainty or conviction about something being true. She's the best candidate. There's no doubt about it.
Okay, now is not the best time. Gentle refusal.
Yes, a polite, softer way to say, I can't help you right now, or I'm busy. Less abrupt than just saying no.
Good for workplace situations. Put this on hold. Pausing something.
Exactly. Temporarily stopping work on something, with the plan to come back to it later. Pausing it.
I'm on it means you're handling it.
Yep. Short, efficient, casual way to say, I'm taking care of that right now, or I'll do it immediately, shows you've taken responsibility. Put it on the back burner. Deprioritizing.
Right. Means it's not a priority right now. You'll deal with it later, but other things are more important at the moment. Low priority.
Okay. Good at juggling a lot of things, or have a lot to juggle.
Yeah.
Multitasking idiom.
Exactly. It describes being able to manage many different tasks, responsibilities, or commitments at the same time, effectively.
Like parents often have a lot to juggle.
For sure.
Don't jump the gun, don't act too soon.
Right. Don't do something too early, before the right time, or without thinking it through properly. Don't be premature.
Good advice. Then there are ways to express certainty. 100% certain, willing to bet on it.
Bet my life on it, or even bet my children on it for extreme, almost reckless certainty, just escalating levels of conviction.
Right. Chances are, means it's likely.
Highly likely, probably.
Yeah.
Forgot your umbrella. Chances are it's going to rain.
I'm convinced that. Strong personal belief.
Yes, expressing your firm belief that something is true based on your own thinking or evidence. I'm convinced that recording concerts on your phone is pointless.
Maybe. Good chance. Informal for likely.
Yeah, just a more casual way of saying there's a good probability or a good opportunity. Is there a good chance we'll finish on time?
Okay. Relationships. Very close or close. Strong bond.
Yep, means having a strong, intimate, meaningful relationship.
And the opposite. Lost touch.
Means you don't communicate much anymore. The connection has faded over time.
Sad when that happens. Expressing emotions. Couldn't be happier. More emphatic than just happy.
Exactly. Much stronger. Expresses extreme joy or contentment.
Completely wiped out. Idiom for tired.
Very common idiom for feeling utterly exhausted, drained, physically or mentally wiped out.
And I'm struggling. A less direct way to say sad.
Yeah, it can be. It implies difficulty, hardship, often emotional distress, without explicitly saying, I'm sad or I'm depressed. More subtle.
Okay, now a bunch of classic idioms. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Meaning don't risk everything on one single option or plan. Diversify. Good advice for investing or career paths.
Makes sense. The ball is in your court.
Means it's now the other person's turn to make a decision or take the next step. The responsibility has shifted to them.
Like in negotiations. A blessing in disguise.
Something that seemed bad at first, but actually turned out to have unexpected positive consequences later on.
Like losing a job, but then finding your dream career because of it.
Exactly.
At the bullet. Facing something unpleasant.
Yes, forcing yourself to do something difficult or unpleasant that you've been avoiding, but know you have to do. Like going to the dentist.
Ugh. Yes. Break the ice. Starting conversation.
Making people feel more comfortable in a social situation, usually by starting a conversation, telling a joke, making introductions, easing the initial awkwardness.
Essential skill. Every cloud has a silver lining. Or, there's always a silver lining.
Means even in a bad situation, there's always something positive you can find if you look for it. Encourages optimism.
Finding the good in the bad. Actions speak louder than words.
What you do is more important and reveals more about you than what you just say you'll do. Promises are cheap, actions matter.
True. Hit the nail on the head.
Getting something exactly right, describing a situation or identifying a problem perfectly.
Like, you really hit the nail on the head with that analysis.
Precisely.
The tip of the iceberg.
The small, visible part of a much larger hidden problem or situation suggests there's a lot more going on underneath.
To equal two birds with one stone. Efficiency.
Yep. Accomplishing two different things with a single action. Like walking to the store gets you groceries and exercise.
Smart. Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Don't assume something will happen or rely on it before it's actually certain. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Like planning how to spend your lottery winnings before you've won.
Exactly.
It's a piece of cake. Very easy.
Super easy, effortless. That test was a piece of cake.
Burning the midnight oil. Working late.
Yes, working or studying late into the night.
Rome wasn't built in a day. Patience required.
Exactly. Important, complex things take time and effort. You can't expect results immediately. Good reminder for language learning.
Very true. Let the cat out of the bag. Revealing a secret.
Accidentally or intentionally revealing information that was supposed to be secret or a surprise.
Like spoiling the surprise party.
Yep.
You can't have your cake and eat it too. Can't have both.
Right. You can't enjoy two desirable but contradictory things at the same time. You have to choose. Save money or buy the expensive purse.
Got it. Spill the beans. Another secret revealing one.
Yes, very similar to letting the cat out of the bag, disclosing secret information, often used more playfully, like, come on, spill the beans, tell me the gossip.
Okay. Better late than never.
It's better to do something or arrive somewhere late than not do it or arrive at all. Can sometimes be said a bit sarcastically, though.
True. Bad things happen in threes. Or when it rains, it pours.
Superstition suggesting that misfortune tends to cluster. If one bad thing happens, expect more soon after.
Hopefully not true. You reap what you sow. Cause and effect.
Exactly. Your actions, sowing, determine your results, reaping. Hard work leads to success. Bad actions lead to bad consequences. A fundamental principle.
Makes sense. Now, I don't believe you. This has layers.
It really does. It can mean literal disbelief, or sarcastically showing appreciation for unexpected kindness. You brought me flowers, I don't believe you. Or expressing shock at bad behavior. You forgot again, I don't believe you. Tone is everything.
Wow, yeah. Context and tone are crucial there. Same for unreal.
Similar deal. It can mean amazing, fantastic, that view is unreal. Or it can express disbelief and disappointment at bad behavior. You just left without paying, unreal.
Fascinating how one word does both. Okay, changing focus. All jokes aside, money aside, feelings aside.
Useful structures to signal a shift. You're moving from humor to seriousness, or you're asking to temporarily ignore one aspect, money, feelings, to focus on another part of the issue. Sets the stage for a different kind of discussion.
Good transition phrases. How about describing outcomes? Go as planned, didn't go as planned, went smoothly.
Pretty straightforward ways to say if something happened the way you expected or hoped. Simple and clear.
And the more nuanced, going as well as can be expected.
Yes. This is often used in difficult situations. It acknowledges things probably aren't going well, but given the tough circumstances, like a serious illness or a poorly prepared project, the current state isn't surprising. It's a cautious, sensitive way to put it.
That's a really useful one. Cut your losses. Knowing when to quit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Deciding to stop putting more time, money, or effort into something that's clearly failing to prevent even greater losses down the line. Strategic retreat.
Like closing a failing business before you lose even more money.
Yep.
Updating people, get someone up to speed, or fill someone in.
Mean the same thing. Give someone the necessary background information or updates they missed so they understand the current situation. Essential for teamwork.
Definitely. TMI, too much information, we all know this abbreviation.
Oh yeah, someone shared way more personal, intimate, or unpleasant detail than was necessary or appropriate. Overshare.
Happens easily online. To be in a haze or hazy memories, feeling unclear.
Yeah, in a haze usually means feeling groggy, unfocused, maybe tired or sick. And hazy memories are memories that are unclear, vague, difficult to recall distinctly.
Okay. Day to day. Referring to routine.
Yep. Your normal everyday activities, schedule, or responsibilities. Like describing your day-to-day tasks at work.
Table scraps, literal leftovers, but also figurative.
Right. Literally leftover food from a meal. Figuratively, it means the undesirable remaining tasks, opportunities, or responsibilities that nobody else wanted, the unwanted bits.
Ouch. From the get-go, meaning from the start.
Exactly. From the very beginning, I knew this project was doomed from the get-go, or he supported my idea from the get-go.
A hidden gem. Something great but undiscovered.
Precisely. A fantastic place, restaurant, shop, maybe even a person that isn't widely known but is really special or high quality, a best-kept secret.
Love finding those. Okay, knocking at your door versus knocking down your door. Different intensity.
Big difference. Knocking on your door usually means opportunities are presenting themselves gently, politely. Knocking down your door implies overwhelming demand. People are desperately clamoring for something you have or something you offer. Much more intense.
Good distinction. To bridge the gap. Connecting things.
Yes, connecting two different groups, ideas, cultures, perspectives, helping them understand each other, or creating a link between them. Like bridging the gap between generations, or between theory and practice.
Important work. And finally, start from the top.
Means go back to the very beginning and start over, often used in rehearsals, presentations, or when explaining something complex. Let's restart from step one.
Phew. Okay, that was a massive tour through advanced English phrases.
Yeah.
It really is like getting a shortcut to understanding the feel of the language, not just the words.
Absolutely. And you see how much cultural context and implied meaning is packed into these seemingly simple phrases. It unlocks a much deeper level of understanding when you're listening or reading.
So hopefully you listening now have a richer sense of how native English speakers actually communicate, in everyday life, from just chatting to more complex stuff.
Yeah, maybe you think about which phrases stood out to you. Were any surprising? Are there any you feel like you could maybe start using? There's so much cultural insight tucked away in there.
And that really leads to our final thought for you. How does really getting these nuances, the idioms, the slang, the subtle advanced phrases, how does that affect how connected or confident you feel when you communicate in English?
It's more than just vocabulary, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about feeling the rhythm and the underlying meanings that make the language truly alive. How might you start applying some of that insight?
Something to ponder. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Ever get that feeling when you're trying to learn something new, maybe English phrases, and suddenly you're just drowning in information? So many articles, videos, opinions everywhere. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose.
It really can be overwhelming.
Well, that's exactly why we're here. Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through all that noise and get right to the core of what really matters.
Precisely. We sift through everything, pull out the really valuable stuff, those insights, those connections that, light everything up. Think of it as your personal intel briefing.
And today, we're doing that deep dive specifically for you, the learner. You sent us a really great source, this video from the J4th English YouTube channel. It's called 221 Advanced English Phrases and Idioms for Everyday Conversations.
Yeah, it's quite a collection, a real linguistic goldmine, actually. It covers, well, a huge range. You've got everyday expressions, loads of phrasal verbs with get.
Oh yeah, loads of those.
Common idioms, really practical travel phrases, some medical vocabulary, which is useful, and even political terms. It's pretty comprehensive.
So our mission today is to unpack all of this. We want to highlight the phrases that are, super useful, but also genuinely interesting. We'll look at meanings, how they're used naturally, using examples straight from the video. The goal is to help you sound more fluent, more natural.
We're looking for those little aha moments, the things that make the learning actually stick.
Okay, let's jump in. First up, everyday phrases. The video starts with 19 essential ones.
Right. These are like the bedrock of natural conversation, the kind of things native speakers use without even thinking, really.
Okay, first is that pair. Sound good. And the reply, sounds good. Jennifer, the host in the video, points out the rising sound in sound good. Makes it a question like, does that sound okay?
Exactly. It's asking for agreement. And then the reply, sounds good, with that falling intonation. That's the confirmation. It's amazing how much that little change in pitch does.
Yeah, those subtle sound cues are huge in English.
Definitely.
She has a little practice scenario. I'm going to share some key takeaways. Sound good. Pause. And you'd say,
sounds good.
Perfect. Next, will do. She says this is a big one for sounding native. Much more common than saying the full I will do it. Why do you think that is? Just shorter.
Well, partly shorter, yeah. It's efficient. But it also sounds, confident. Like, yep, understood. On it. It's brisk.
That makes sense. You remember this phrase? Will do. Okay, moving on. How's it going? Jennifer contrasts this with how are you, which she says is maybe more for like a quick chat with a cashier.
Right, a bit more impersonal maybe.
And how are you doing? And she feels that it's more about the right now. Right. How's it going? Is her favorite casual.
Yeah, how's it going is definitely a workhorse, super common, friendly. And the reply she gives, it's going good, great, amazing, awesome, spot on, low pressure greeting.
Then what's going on with someone? Using it to ask about, say, a project or a person there. The video example. What's going on with Janice? She seems upset. It feels a bit gentler than asking directly, what's wrong? Doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It shows you're paying attention, maybe concerned, but it lets them decide how much to share. Opens the door gently.
Very useful. Another one, keep me in the loop. Such a great way to ask for updates.
Uh-huh. Direct but polite.
The example was about colleagues working on proposals. And the reply,
will do, naturally.
Why is that kind of communication, being in the loop, so key in teamwork?
Well, everyone needs to know what's happening to, avoid stepping on toes or doing the same work twice. It keeps everything aligned. Keep me in the loop just makes that need explicit.
Makes sense. Okay, next, just following up. The perfect phrase for a polite reminder when you're waiting for someone to get back to you.
Mm-hmm. Essential for work emails.
Like just following up on whether you found that explanation helpful. This doesn't sound pushy.
Not at all. It's gentle. It acknowledges you already talked about it and just gives a little nudge. Very professional.
Then we have ASAP.
Yeah.
As soon as possible. Jennifer notes you can say the letters ASAP or the word ASAP.
Both are fine. Yeah, heard both all the time.
Used when making requests or confirming you'll do something quickly. Acronyms really do seep into everyday speech, don't they?
It's all about speed, isn't it? Shorthand. Though knowing the full phrase is always good, just in case.
And the opposite. No rush tells the other person it's not urgent.
Right. Takes the pressure off.
Like, take your time absorbing these phrases. No rush. It's considerate.
Shows respect for their time, definitely. Makes things more relaxed.
No worries. Jennifer says she uses this constantly. Means don't worry, it's okay. Usually after an apology or a small mistake.
Yeah, like if you bump into someone, oh, sorry, no worries.
Very common, very informal. Keeps things light.
Exactly. Friendly.
Okay, some reaction phrases. Oh, really? You need that surprised tone, she says, when you hear unexpected news.
That intonation is key. Rising up like that shows you're genuinely surprised.
Totally changes the meaning otherwise.
Absolutely. It signals your reaction, keeps it lively.
Then there's good to know. Simple acknowledgement of information, positive or neutral. Friends visiting next week. Oh, good to know.
Yep. Shows you heard it, registered it, often used just before moving on. Concise.
Heads up. This is an informal warning, often heard in offices.
Or just a heads up.
Right. It's like, heads up, we're moving to the next category now. Give people a moment to prepare.
Exactly. Consideration, again, lets people know what's coming.
Okay, hopefully you won't need this one too often. I'm running late. Jennifer says this is the standard, natural way to say you'll be late.
Much better than long excuses.
Heads up, I'm running late. Feel free to start without me. Direct, clear.
Yep. Gets the message across efficiently.
Here's a different kind of question. What do you have on the go today? It's like, what are you doing? But maybe implies a bit more busyness.
It does feel a bit like that, yeah. Like you expect them to be juggling a few things. The reply often uses that ing form, the present continuous.
Right. Then for social plans, let's catch up. Friendly, informal suggestion to get together.
Been ages, let's catch up soon. Yeah, shows you want to reconnect.
It's a nice open invitation. And checking availability. Are you free? Like, are you free on Saturday or are you free to chat later? Straightforward planning.
Yep. Clear and direct way to see if the time works.
Now, this next one, she says, really makes you sound native. Are you good to? Used to check if someone's available and able, right?
Exactly. Or capable. Like, are you good to lead the presentation?
And the bonus phrase, I'm good to go, meaning I'm ready.
Oh, don't worry, I'm good to go. Yeah. It implies readiness and willingness. It's that subtle combination that sounds so natural, efficient too.
And the last one in this first batch, you rock, or past tense, you rocked. Casual praise.
Enthusiastic.
And she corrects that common mistake, not you are rock. Rock is the verb.
Right. You rock means you are excellent or you did great. Fun way to say thanks or admire someone.
Definitely. Okay, that was a solid start with everyday stuff now.
Yeah.
The video dives into phrasal verbs with get, and there are over 40 of them.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah. That sounds like
Yeah.
a lot. I can see how you, the learner, might feel a bit overwhelmed just hearing that number.
Exactly. Phrasal verbs can be tricky. So we're not going through all 40 right now. Don't worry.
Good plan.
We'll focus on some key ones, the really useful common ones. First, get ahead. Means make progress, right? Usually career or studies.
Yeah, like to really get ahead in English, you need to practice.
Yeah.
It implies moving forward, maybe even surpassing others. Success.
Okay. Then get along with someone. Have a good relationship.
Can be positive or negative, as she points out. We don't really get along.
Think about how well you get along with learning new vocabulary. What helps you get along with learning?
Well, for me, it's finding connections, making it relevant, positive interactions, feeling comfortable with it. When you get along, there's a good flow.
Good point. Get away is next. Means escape.
Physically, like going on vacation, or mentally, just taking a break.
Maybe this deep dive is your way to get away for a bit. Immerse yourself in English.
Could be that need for a break, a change of scene. We all feel it.
Then there's get away with something. Different meaning. This is about avoiding punishment, right?
Exactly. Doing something wrong and not getting caught often implies luck or maybe being a bit sneaky.
Okay. Get back. Mostly means return. Often with a place. Get back home. Get back to work.
Straightforward return journey. Simple.
But get back to someone. Totally different. Means respond to their message.
Crucial one. Responding to emails, calls, basic communication courtesy.
Then get back into something. Starting an activity again after a break.
Like thinking about getting back into going to the gym, re-engaging with something.
Right. Now, a less positive one. Get back at someone. This is revenge.
Yeah, retaliation. Hopefully not one you need often.
Let's hope not. Get behind someone something. This means support them.
Show you approve, you endorse it, backing them up.
Get by. This means having just enough money or resources to survive.
Barely managing, yeah. Limited means but coping.
Get into trouble.
Yeah.
Means ending up in a bad situation, often because you did something wrong.
Getting involved in problems, negative consequences.
Okay, now some movement ones. Get on for planes, trains, buses, boats. Means board.
Right. And she mentioned getting on can also mean getting older. Context is everything.
Definitely. And it's usually for those larger vehicles you step onto.
Good distinction. And the opposite.
Get off. Leaving those same types of transport. Disembarking.
Makes sense. Get on, get off.
But for cars, rooms, buildings, it's get in, enter.
And what time did you get in can mean what time did you start work? Arrival or starting something?
And again, notice the smaller space you get in a car.
Right, and leaving those.
Get out, car, room, building, and following the work pattern, what time do you get off means what time do you finish work.
Parallel structure there. Get in, get out, get on, get off, start, finish work, useful.
Now the exclamations, get out of here, get out of town. all mean disbelief.
Yeah. Like, no way, I don't believe you. Strong surprise.
Okay. Get out of something or doing something means avoid it, right? An unpleasant task.
Escaping something you don't want to do. Finding a way out.
Get together. Simple. Meet socially.
Organize a hangout. Connect with people.
Get up usually means get out of bed. But
Yeah.
what did you get up to means what did you do?
And sometimes, yeah, it can hint at maybe mischief. Depends on the tone.
Context again.
Crucial.
Get across. Communicate successfully.
You make your point understood, which leads to
What are you getting at? Meaning, what are you trying to say? What's your underlying point?
all about clear communication. Essential.
Get at, like something on a high shelf. This is more literal. Reach it. Obtain it.
Physical access, yeah. Retrieving something.
Get rid of.
Yeah.
Very common. Throw away. Eliminate unwanted stuff.
Decluttering. Discarding things.
Get wound up about something. Get really angry or
Get
agitated.
really worked up. And the opposite advice someone might give.
Get over it. Stop feeling so strongly negative about it. Move on.
Deals with managing those emotions. One is getting upset, the other is letting go.
And get over someone can mean recover from a breakup or
Recover from an illness. Healing emotional or physical.
get around. An area means travel within it. But get around to something means finally doing that thing you've been putting off.
Ah, yes. That feeling of finally tackling a delayed task. Very relatable.
Definitely. Get it together means take control, calm down, get organized.
Regain composure. Manage things better. Pull yourself together.
And lastly, get through something. This one's versatile. It can mean endure a tough time
Or finish a difficult task successfully.
or get through to someone, successfully contact them or make them understand.
Wow, yeah. Get through covers a lot. Perseverance, completion, connection. Powerful little phrase.
Jennifer really stresses that practice and repetition are vital for these. So the learner, maybe mark this section for review.
Good advice. Phrasal verbs need practice.
Okay, let's switch gears. Something maybe more colorful. Common idioms. The video gives us 20.
Ah, idioms. These are where English gets really interesting and sometimes confusing if you take them literally. They add so much flavor.
Definitely don't want to take them literally. First one, break a leg. If I said that to you before this recording, I wouldn't actually want you to get hurt.
Ha. No, thankfully. It means good luck, especially before performance. Weird, right?
So weird. Why do we say that?
It's thought to be from old theater superstition. Saying good luck was bad luck, so they said the opposite. Reverse psychology.
Fascinating. Okay, spill the beans means reveal a secret.
Yep, like accidentally letting confidential information slip out. Very visual.
Have you ever spilled the beans? Ruined a surprise.
Maybe once or twice. It happens.
Hit the hay or hit the sack. Informal way to say go to bed.
Sounds a bit old-fashioned now, but people still understand it. Long day, gonna hit the hay, evokes those old straw mattresses.
Like the bullet. Face something difficult with courage.
Grit your teeth and do it. Accept the unpleasantness without complaining. Guess I'll have to bite the bullet and finish this report.
Hit the jackpot. Big success, big win, often unexpected.
Comes from gambling, winning the top prize. Conveys great luck or fortune.
Catch someone's eye. Get noticed. Attract attention.
Could be your presentation slide or maybe your resume catching the recruiter's eye. Standing out.
Hit the nail on the head. Describe something perfectly. Get the answer exactly right.
You really hit the nail on the head there. It means you got it spot on. Very satisfying.
Burn bridges. Ooh, sounds bad. Means damaging relationships, closing off future options.
Yeah, definitely one to avoid. Actions that have lasting negative consequences for connections.
Jump on the bandwagon. Adopt a popular trend, maybe just because it's popular.
Following the crowd. Jennifer mentioned YouTube Shorts as maybe a current bandwagon for creators.
Be in the same boat, facing the same problems as someone else.
Create solidarity. We're all in the same boat with these new rules. Shared challenge.
And span. Means very neat, clean, tidy.
Maybe a bit dated, but understood. Her kitchen was always in span. Spotless.
Cost an arm and a leg. Means extremely expensive.
Hyperbole, right. That car must have cost an arm and a leg. Really stresses the high price.
And similar, cost a pretty penny. Also expensive, but maybe slightly less dramatic.
A bit more delicate, yeah. Still means pricey.
Opposite end, dirt cheap, very inexpensive.
Like that knockoff Gucci bag example she used. Looked fancy, but was dirt cheap because it was.
A knockoff, an imitation, a fake.
Exact.
Hit the road, start a journey, or just leave a place.
Okay, time to hit the road. Signals departure. Energetic.
Break a sweat. Exert physical effort. Or negatively, didn't even break a sweat means it was easy.
Context tells you if it's about effort or lack of effort.
Be under the weather. Feel slightly sick, unwell.
Can't make it tonight, feeling a bit under the weather. Gentler way to say you're ill, common.
And the last idiom for now. Call it a day. Stop working for the day.
Or call it a night if it's evening. Signals the end of the work session. Right, let's call it a day here.
Okay, wow. Covered a lot. Now, for something super practical, especially if you, the learner, plan to travel. Travel phrases. Over 50 in this section.
Absolutely essential stuff. Knowing these can make a trip so much smoother, less stressful, boosts your confidence hugely.
Starts with greetings. Hello, hi there. Good morning, afternoon, evening. Simple enough. But she notes that you can just say morning, but usually need good with afternoon and evening.
Those little nuances, yeah. What sounds natural at different times, important social cues.
Stating your reason for visit. Reservations. We have a reservation under Smith. Inquiries. When is the next ferry? Asking if a store has something. Do you carry sunscreen? Getting straight to the point.
Helps streamline things, gets you the info you need faster.
Getting attention politely. Excuse me. Especially in North America. She says this is better than, pardon me, for getting attention.
Good tip. Excuse me is definitely the standard way to politely interrupt or ask for help.
Now, the big one. What if you don't understand? Lots of options here. Pardon me. Or, excuse me. With that questioning sound.
Indicates you didn't quite hear or catch it.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Polite request to repeat. And it's okay to say, sorry, English isn't my first language.
Absolutely okay. Helps manage expectations.
You can ask them to slow down. Can you repeat that slower, please? Or pinpoint a word. I'm not sure what kerfuffle means.
Good example.
Asking for different wording. Can you explain it a different way? Or can you give me more information? Or just generally, can you help me understand?
And the direct options. Sorry, I don't understand. Or can you repeat that, please? Having these ready takes away so much anxiety.
Totally. It empowers you to ask for clarification. Communication is two-way.
Exactly.
Okay, at stores. Paying. Credit cards often assumed. Key questions. How much is this? Or how much are these?
Then the bag question. Do you need a bag or just need a bag?
And be aware of bag policies. Might need to buy one. Can you give me a bag, please? Or, I need to buy a bag, please. Please, at the end is polite.
Good reminder. Then receipts. Do you want a receipt? Replies. No, that's it. Okay, no thanks. Yes, please.
And if they ask for donations or memberships?
A simple, polite no thanks works fine. Covers those basic transactions.
Finding things, if you're just looking, I'm just looking, or I'm just browsing.
Looking is maybe slightly more common, she felt.
If you need help, I'm looking for item. Where can I find item? Do you carry item?
Trying clothes on. Where can I try this on? Or where are the fitting rooms or changing rooms?
And returns. What's your return policy? Covers most retail navigation.
Yep, empowers you to shop effectively.
Dining out. Restaurants. Arriving. Table for two, please. Or, we have a reservation under Jones. No booking. Can we make our reservation?
Seating preferences. Do you have tables outside? Can we sit by the window? Any booths available?
Allergies are crucial. I'm allergic to nuts. Dietary needs. Can you make that vegetarian or gluten-free?
Ordering. I'll have the pasta, please. Or I'd like the soup, please. Standard.
Modifying. No onions. Hold the onions without onions. Adding things. Can you add extra cheese? Spice level. Can you make it extra spicy? Sauces. Can you put the sauce on the side?
Water. Can you bring us some water, please? Specify tap water is fine, or house water if you don't want bottled.
Finding the facilities. Where are the bathrooms or restrooms? Avoid just toilets in North America generally.
Good cultural note. Leftovers. Can I have a to-go box, please? Can you wrap this up? Can you pack this up? All work.
Finishing up, just the check, please. Or just the bill, please. Or can you bring me the check? Asking where to pay. Where do I pay?
And the big one, tipping. Usually not included. Expect 10-20% for good service. Vital info.
Absolutely. That whole section is incredibly useful for eating out.
For sure. Dining is a big part of travel. Knowing these phrases helps immensely.
Wi-Fi. Always important. Do you have Wi-Fi? Is there Wi-Fi here? What's the Wi-Fi password?
If you need help typing it, can you put it in for me, please? Can you write it down? Can you repeat that slowly? Essential for staying connected.
Getting around. GPS helps, but basics are good. Directions. Excuse me, do you know how to get to the museum? Which way is the station?
Public transport. Does this bus go downtown? Which train goes to the airport?
And asking for photos. Excuse me, do you mind taking our photo? Or could you please take our picture? Polite ways to ask a stranger.
Still useful skills, even with selfies.
And the video ends this section with a reassurance. North America is diverse. People are used to different accents. Don't stress too much about perfect grammar.
Focus on clear communication. People are generally friendly and helpful. That's a great message.
It really is. Okay, deep breath. After travel, we move to another important, hopefully less frequently needed area. Medical vocabulary. Over 50 terms here.
Yeah, you hope you don't need it, but if you do, knowing some basics can be a lifesaver, or at least reduce stress significantly.
Types of patients. A patient is anyone getting care. Inpatient is admitted to hospital, maybe the ICU, intensive care unit. Outpatient gets care without admission, maybe in the ER, emergency room.
Helps understand the level of care, yeah, setting and intensity.
Medical pros, doctor, physician, general. GP, general practitioner, your main doctor, surgeon specialist, cardiologist, heart, dermatologist, skin, pediatrician. Kids, she mentions the lollipop.
Yes. The post-visit treat.
Optometrist, eyes, dentist, teeth, OBGYN, women's health, anesthesiologist, puts you under, radiologist, x-rays, MRIs, psychiatrist, mental health, ENT, ear, nose, throat, and of course, nurses like RNs, registered nurses, and NPs, nurse practitioners. Wow.
Comprehensive list. Covers many specialties you might encounter.
Routine care. Routine checkup for overall health. They check vital signs, temperature, heart rate, blood pressure. You discuss specific issues.
Preventative care. Catching things early. Vitals give a quick health snapshot.
Specific issues. Might get referred to a specialist. You describe symptoms, how you feel ill. Examples, back pain, sore arm, numb feet, blurry vision, feeling nauseous. You're experiencing a symptom.
Doctor orders diagnostic tests, MRI, X-ray, CT scan, to get a diagnosis, identifying the illness, then discuss treatment options.
Might get a prescription, the order for medicine. Take it to the pharmacy, see the pharmacist. They fill the prescription, explain dosage, how much often, and potential side effects. Then maybe a follow-up appointment.
That really maps out the typical process. Knowing the terms helps you follow along and ask questions. Less intimidating.
Definitely. Okay, final category. Political vocabulary. Over 40 terms. Aimed at helping understand news, conversations, even if politics isn't your main interest.
Yeah, it's hard to avoid political discussions entirely. Understanding the basics helps you follow along and be an informed citizen.
Partisanship first. Nonpartisan. Not tied to a party. Like a neutral community meeting.
Partisan, strongly supporting one side. Like a partisan news show.
Bipartisan, supported by two parties. Often seen as positive compromise.
Yeah.
Like a bipartisan bill. She mentioned tripartisan. Quadripartisan exist but are rare.
Helps you analyze who supports what and why. Political dynamics.
Politics versus political. Politics is the noun governing activities, the study. Studying politics. Avoid politics at dinner.
Political is the adjective relating to politics. Political news. He's very political. Grammatical difference is key.
People. A politician is someone in government making laws, the general term.
Actively involved in governing.
Voters. A constituency is the group of voters in an area. Constituents are the individual voters in that area, the people represented.
That link between voters and elected officials. Fundamental.
Elections. You vote in an election, vote for a person, they run for a position, mayor, president, they're a candidate for it, campaigning for it.
If they win, they won the election. Could be a landslide victory, big win, clear margin, clear-cut victory, or an underdog victory, or an upset, surprise win.
Losing can also be an upset if they were expected to win, or a narrow defeat, close call, or a crushing defeat, big loss. Lots of these apply outside politics too.
The language of winning and losing, yeah. Very transferable.
Serious stuff. Impeachment. Formal accusation of serious crime against a public official. She notes, 3 U.S. presidents impeached, none removed by it. Impeachment is the noun, the accusation.
If found guilty, could be removed from office, forced to leave position, political equivalent of being fired.
Or they might leave voluntarily. Resign, step down, quit. Quit is more general. Nixon resigned. Important accountability terms.
Crucial for understanding how leaders are held responsible.
Incumbency. The incumbent is the current office holder, often has advantages like name recognition.
Being the person already in the job, yeah, can give an edge.
Influencing politicians. To lobby, verb, is to try to persuade them. Lobbying is the effort, noun extension. A lobbyist is paid to do it for a group.
Shows how outside groups try to shape policy, advocacy, and influence.
And finally, delaying tactics. A filibuster, noun verb. A long speed to delay or block a vote. She filibustered the bill for hours.
A procedural move to try and stop legislation can be very effective or controversial.
Wow. Okay. We have navigated a huge amount of English today, the learner. Seriously, from basic hellos to filibusters. You've now got a much bigger, much richer toolkit.
Absolutely. Think about some of those nuances we hit on, like get in versus get on. Small difference, big impact on sounding natural. Or the crazy history behind break a leg.
It's those little things, isn't it? And hopefully you feel now how knowing these phrases, these idioms, it really can boost your fluency, help you sound more natural, understand more.
And do it without feeling like you just memorized a dictionary.
Exactly. The key now, of course, is using them. Start listening for them. You'll hear them everywhere now, I bet, in videos, conversations.
And then, take the plunge. Try using one or two yourself. Which ones stuck with you today? Which ones could you see yourself actually using?
Yeah, think about that, because understanding these building blocks, these aren't just words. They're how we connect, how we build understanding with people in English. It's about weaving that richer tapestry of communication. Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is the space where we take sources you send our way, maybe articles, videos, things that caught your eye, and we really try to break them down.
Exactly. The idea is to pull out the key insights, the useful bits, so you feel well-informed, quickly, without it feeling like homework.
Right. So today, we're diving into language. This comes from a listener suggestion, a really interesting YouTube video.
Oh, yeah. What's it called?
It's titled 38 Advanced English Phrases for Everyday Conversations, in one short story. It's from the channel J. Forrest English.
Ah, okay. Learning phrases through a story. That's a pretty neat approach. Context makes such a difference.
It really does. And the creator, Jennifer, she emphasizes pronunciation too, and actually using the phrases. She even encourages viewers to leave examples in the comments.
That's great for practice. Okay, so how does it start?
Well, the story kicks off with a phrase everyone knows, once upon a time.
The classic fairy tale opening. But, like the video probably points out, you wouldn't really say that in a normal chat, right?
Exactly. It's strictly for storytelling. It signals, okay, here comes the narrative.
Got it. So what's the first everyday phrase we hit?
It describes the setting. A cozy town. Now, cozy, that seems simple, but maybe there's more to it.
Oh, definitely. Cozy means comfortable, warm, inviting, sure. But it's got this deeper cultural feel in English. It's not just physical warmth.
Emotional comfort.
Yeah, like security, feeling safe and relaxed, a cozy night in. And the pronunciation, she points out, it's a zuz sound, not an S. Cozy.
Cozy, right. Yeah. Like the example, that sweater looks cozy. You just instantly picture it. Warm, soft.
Mm-hmm. And people in the comments are mentioning their own cozy clothes. It's a very positive, comforting word.
Okay, moving on. The town is described as nestled between rolling hills. Nestled.
Another nice visual word. And watch out for the pronunciation that T is silent.
Ah, like listen or castle. So nisled.
Exactly. It means sort of snugly fitted, comfortably placed, like a bird's nest is nestled in a tree. It suggests being sheltered, protected.
So the town fits perfectly into the landscape. The video example, the office is nestled in the heart of downtown, gives that tucked away feeling too.
Right. Maybe even a bit peaceful amidst the busy city. Then we meet a group of 5 close friends. Close here describes their relationship.
Meaning they're very good friends, intimate, trusting, not just acquaintances.
Precisely. It implies a strong bond. And these friends have a tradition.
Right. They always set aside one weekend a year to catch up and hang out. Let's look at set aside. This is a phrasal verb, isn't it?
It is. Set plus aside. It means to reserve something, usually time or money, for a particular reason.
So they consciously make time for this weekend, despite being busy.
Exactly. It's intentional. Like the example, I always set aside 1 hour per day for my English lessons. You're prioritizing it.
Makes sense. And they set aside this time to do 2 things, catch up and hang out. Let's take catch up first.
Catch up is all about sharing news, finding out what's been happening since you last saw each other, filling in the gaps.
Like, let's grab coffee and catch up. A very common invitation.
Mm-hmm. You can catch up with friends, family, coworkers you haven't seen much. Just getting up to speed.
And then hang out.
Hang out is more informal. Just spending social time together, relaxing, enjoying each other's company without a specific goal, necessarily.
So you might hang out and catch up during that time.
Exactly. They often go together naturally. Let's hang out next week. We need to catch up. Perfect example.
Okay, so the friends decide where to go. They head to a secluded cabin by the lake. What about head to?
Ah, head to. It's a really common, natural alternative to just saying go to.
Like, are you heading to the party later instead of are you going to the party?
Precisely. It sounds a bit more fluid, maybe slightly less formal, very native speaker sounding. The example, yesterday we headed to the gym, shows how normal it is.
Got it. And the cabin is secluded. What does that imply?
Secluded means it's private, isolated, probably no other houses right nearby. It suggests being away from it all, maybe a bit remote.
Perfect for their goal, which was to unplug.
Yes, unplug. Literally, you unplug a lamp. But here, it means disconnecting from technology phones, internet, work emails.
Taking a break from the digital noise.
Exactly. Being present. The example I'm looking forward to unplugging this weekend is something many of us feel, and the video even suggests unplugging before bed for better sleep. Good advice.
Definitely. So to get there, they packed up their cars and set off early on Friday. Let's break down pack up and set off.
Okay, pack up is getting all your belongings together before you leave, like packing up your desk at the end of the day or packing up food before it rains, like in the video's example.
Gathering your stuff and then set off.
Set off means to start a journey, to begin the trip.
And the past tense is also set off, right? No Eddie.
Correct, irregular. So what time do you want to set off tomorrow is asking when you want to leave to start the trip.
Okay, so they packed up, set off, and when they arrived, the view was breathtaking.
Breathtaking, a strong one. Means extremely beautiful, stunning, awe-inspiring, so amazing it almost takes your breath away.
Like a sunset, or a view from a mountain, or even a breathtaking performance, as the video notes.
Exactly, it conveys that sense of wonder. And seeing this view, they immediately fell in love with the place. Let's talk about fall in love.
It's the process of starting to love something or someone, not the state of already being in love.
Precisely. It's that transition. And you can fall in love with a place, like the cabin, not just a person. It signifies a really strong, positive reaction.
Which is reinforced by the next phrase, at first sight.
Meaning instantly, the very moment they saw it, like the classic Romeo fell in love with Juliet at first sight. But again, you can use it for things too. It was love at first sight when I saw that car, or in this case, the cabin.
That immediate connection. Okay, so they arrive, love the place, and then they settled in, unpacked, and decided to kick off the weekend with a hike. Let's look at settle in and kick off.
Settle in is about getting comfortable in a new place, finding your way around, unpacking, starting to feel at home or at ease, like students settling into a classroom at the start of a lesson.
That adjustment period. And kick off.
Kick off means to start something, often with a bit of energy or as a clear beginning point, like kicking off a meeting, or here, kicking off the weekend's activities with a hike.
Sounds like a good start. The hike was through the nearby woods. Nearby.
Simple but useful. Just means close, not far away. It can be an adverb, I live nearby, or an adjective, the nearby cafe, the nearby woods.
Easy enough. During the hike, something happens. They came across a hidden waterfall. Come across.
That means to find something accidentally, by chance. You weren't specifically looking for it.
Like finding a $20 bill on the street.
Exactly. The video notes we usually come across things, but we run into people by chance. So I came across this cool website, not I ran into this cool website.
Ah, good distinction. And seeing this waterfall made them stop in their tracks.
That's a great idiom. It means you stop moving suddenly because you're surprised, shocked, or amazed by something. The waterfall literally made them stop walking.
It must have been impressive. Lisa says, we definitely lucked out with this spot. Lucked out.
Luck out means you were fortunate, you had good luck in a specific situation, often by chance, like getting the last concert ticket or finding this amazing hidden waterfall. You didn't plan it, you just got lucky.
Like hitting the jackpot on that location. Okay, and then Lisa starts snapping photos.
Yeah, snap photos is just a casual way to say take photos. Maybe implies doing it quickly or informally.
Got it. Later, back at the cabin, they gathered around the fireplace and chatted about the good old days. Gathered around
means coming together in a group, usually focused on something central, the fireplace here, or maybe a table or a screen. It creates a sense of togetherness.
And they chatted about the good old days. We know, chat about?
Yeah.
What about the good old days?
Nostalgia. It refers to a time in the past that people remember fondly, often idealizing it a bit, thinking things were simpler or better then. It's a very common phrase when reminiscing.
That warm, fuzzy look back. While chatting, laughter filled up the cabin as they made up ridiculous stories and acted out scenes from movies. Two phrasal verbs here, filled up And made up.
Right. Filled up means laughter occupied the whole space. You could really hear it everywhere. It can also be figurative, like, my schedule filled up. And made up stories means they invented them, created them, probably for fun.
And the stories were ridiculous.
Meaning absurd, silly, funny. Given the laughter, it sounds like they were telling amusing, maybe exaggerated tales.
But they didn't just tell them, they acted out scenes from movies.
Yeah.
Act out.
That means physically performing or demonstrating something. So they were using gestures, maybe voices, really performing the scenes, not just describing them.
Sounds like fun. Later, they whipped up some snacks when hunger kicked in. Let's tackle whip up and kick in.
Okay, whip up is specifically for food. It means preparing something quickly and easily. You whip up a salad, whip up some eggs, always about food.
Right. And notice the pronunciation whipped ends with the soft T sound. Whipped up.
Good point. And kick in means something starts to take effect. Here, it's the feeling of hunger starting. You also hear it a lot with medicine. When will the painkiller kick in?
So hunger started, they quickly made food, then they stayed up until the wee hours gazing at the star-filled sky and mulling over their dreams. Lots to unpack there.
Okay, the wee hours are the very early morning hours, like between midnight and maybe 3 or 4 a.m. when most people are asleep.
Late night, or rather early morning. And gazing.
Gazing is looking at something steadily, intently, often with admiration or fascination, gazing at stars, gazing at a beautiful painting.
And mulling over.
That means thinking deeply and carefully about something, considering it from different angles. So, mulling over their dreams, they were thoughtfully contemplating their futures.
A nice, quiet, contemplative moment. Then Emma reflects, no matter where life takes us, I'm glad we can always count on each other. Count on.
Crucial for relationships. Count on means rely on, depend on. Trusting that someone will support you or that something will work reliably, like, you can count on me, or I count on my alarm clock to wake me up.
It speaks to the reliability of their friendship. Okay, wrapping up the weekend. Though the weekend had flown by, it was filled with memories they would hold on to forever. 2 more here. Flown by and hold on to.
Flown by like time flies. It means time passed extremely quickly, usually because you were having fun. And hold on to, in this non-physical sense, means to cherish, to keep something important in your memory or heart. Holding on to memories, holding on to hope.
Wanting to keep those good feelings. As they leave, as they pulled away from the cabin, they felt recharged and ready to take on whatever life had in store. Final batch. Pull away, recharge, take on, and have in store.
Okay, pull away is specifically used when a vehicle, car, train, bus starts moving away from a place. The train pulled away from the station.
Got it. And recharged.
Like recharging a battery, feeling refreshed, full of energy again after being tired or stressed. The weekend recharged them.
Ready to face things again. Which leads to take on.
Take on means to accept a challenge, task, or responsibility, to confront or deal with something. I can take on that extra project. Or here, ready to take on life's challenges.
Yes. And finally, whatever life had in store. What does have in store mean?
It refers to what is planned or expected to happen in the future, often used when the future is a bit unknown. I wonder what the future has in store, or let's see what the boss has in store for us today.
Oh, okay, that's 38 phrases unpacked. It really shows how much is packed into everyday English, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And learning these kinds of expressions, it really helps you sound more natural, more fluent when you speak.
Definitely. And for you listening, if you like getting knowledge efficiently, getting those aha moments, we hope this deep dive delivered, breaking down how these common phrases actually work in conversation.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff. It makes you think which of these phrases maybe resonated most with you. Is there one you think, I could use that?
Or just noticing them more when you hear English being spoken. Maybe try slipping 1 or 2 into your own conversations.
Exactly. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
See you next time. All right, everyone, get ready, because today we are going deep, deep into something fascinating, and that is how to sound like a native English speaker. And not just any English, but that casual, everyday English. The kind of stuff that those textbooks just don't teach you. We're using this really cool script from an advanced English learning podcast, so it's not beginner stuff. And get this, there are 29 phrases packed into this thing. 29 phrases that are going to level up your English, especially if you're wanting to sound more like a native speaker.
What's really cool about these phrases is that they often go way beyond what they actually mean on the surface.
Oh, like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so for example, they often reveal subtle cultural norms, That's stuff you won't find in a textbook, or even communication styles. You start to get a deeper understanding of how we native speakers, how we actually interact with each other.
I love that. It's like we're unlocking a secret code to understand like the culture behind the language.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let's just jump right in, why don't we? The first phrase that it got my eye, and I was kind of like, huh, is this one? Can't complain. Now tell me, isn't that kind of a negative thing to say? Like, are we all supposed to just pretend like everything's perfect all the time?
Okay, so it might seem that way, like just reading it, on the surface, but in reality, it's a super common response in casual American small talk. It's not about denying any struggles, but rather it's kind of a subtle way of just indicating that things are, okay, generally. It's not like necessarily amazing, but it's not, bad enough to start complaining about.
Oh, so it's kind of like a social lubricant, like keeping the conversation, keeping it light and positive, without getting too deep into it.
Exactly, like a little conversational oil, if you will.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like saying life's happening, but I'm hanging in there.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
Okay, so speaking of navigating those ups and downs of life, how about fair enough? Now that seems pretty straightforward, right? You're just agreeing with someone.
Yeah, it does convey agreement, like a basic level of agreement. But there's something else going on here. There's a really fascinating power dynamic at play that I think a lot of people miss. It acknowledges the other person's point, but you don't necessarily have to concede your own. It's kind of like you're saying, I hear ya, and I respect your perspective, but I may not completely agree.
Ooh, okay. So it's a way of acknowledging someone's opinion without maybe getting pulled into a debate that you just don't want to have.
Exactly.
I can see that being super useful in those tricky situations, where you want to be respectful, but you also want to stand your ground.
You got it.
Okay, now the next phrase. I'm not going to lie, it kind of threw me for a loop. Okay, here it is. I'm not really into that. Now it just seems like a pretty basic way to, express your dislike for something, but is there something more to it?
You're right. It does convey dislike, but it does it in a much more polite and indirect way than just saying straight up, I don't like that. It's kind of like softening the blow, so to speak, And it really helps you avoid sounding harsh or judgmental, which, nobody wants to do.
So it's about finding that balance between, honesty and politeness. I guess sometimes you just don't want to crush someone's, enthusiasm, even if you're not exactly a fan of, whatever they're talking about.
Yeah, like their favorite band, maybe.
Exactly, or their favorite band.
Yeah.
This next one I hear all the time, especially when I'm trying to, make a point and the other person's like, you got me,
Yeah.
But they don't want to admit it, so they kind of change the subject. This is it. That's beside the point.
Yeah. It can definitely be used in those situations you're talking about, but it also has a broader purpose in conversations. It's a way of kind of politely telling the other person, hey, that information you're giving me, it's irrelevant to the main topic.
Right.
So you can use it to bring the focus back to the core issue. So you don't go down these conversational rabbit holes.
So it's like saying, hey, interesting anecdote, but let's stick to the facts here.
Exactly.
Okay. This next one, I feel like this is so American. It's the no big deal. I feel like it's all about just downplaying situations and maintaining that casual, relaxed vibe,
Yeah, you're right on the money. It's minimizing the significance of something. It's often used, when someone's apologizing for a minor mishap or something. It just reassures them that you're not bothered.
Right.
And it just helps to maintain a harmonious atmosphere.
So if someone bumps into you accidentally or, spills a little bit of their drink on you or something, you just say, no big deal. And it's like a verbal chill pill, letting them know, hey, it's all good.
Totally.
I can see how that kind of contributes to a more laid back and forgiving social environment. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's about fostering understanding and flexibility in social interactions, which is so key.
Okay. I have to admit, this next phrase I read, I was a bit confused. I was like, what does this even mean? Here it is. I wouldn't say no to that. I mean, why not just say yes?
Right.
It just seems like a very roundabout way of accepting something.
Yeah, it might seem indirect, but it's actually a very polite and understated way of expressing interest. It conveys enthusiasm while maintaining a touch of modesty.
Okay.
So you're basically saying, I'm interested, but I don't want to seem too eager.
Interesting. So there's a cultural element at play here. This subtle dance between expressing interest without appearing overly enthusiastic, I guess. Is there a particular context where this phrase is most commonly used?
Yeah, you'll often hear it when someone is being offered something like it could be a piece of cake, an invitation to an event, or even a job opportunity, anything like that.
Right.
And it's just a way of accepting gracefully while maintaining a sense of decorum.
That makes a lot of sense. I can definitely see the cultural nuance there. Okay, let's move on to it slipped my mind. I think we've all been there, right? Forgetting something important,
Oh, yeah.
even though you were trying to remember it.
Happens to the best of us. Yeah, it's that moment when your memory fails you. This phrase is a gentler way of admitting you've forgotten something than, just blurting out, oops, I forgot.
Right. It's not as harsh.
Yeah, it softens the blow and it just makes you sound more relatable.
Yeah, it's like acknowledging that, we're all human. Our brains have these occasional glitches.
For sure.
So instead of beating yourself up over, a forgotten task or like an appointment or something, we can use this phrase to acknowledge the oversight while, maintaining a sense of humor about it.
Exactly. It's about, being kind to ourselves.
Right.
Recognizing that these things happen.
All right, let's tackle a phrase that's essential for navigating those passionate disagreements. This one, let's agree to disagree. I feel like this one is a lifesaver when you're stuck in a conversation where you and the other person just can't seem to see eye to eye.
Yeah, it's a really valuable tool for preserving relationships. You can respect differing viewpoints. You're basically saying, hey, we've reached an impasse here, but it's okay to have different perspectives. You don't have to let it escalate into a conflict.
It's like waving a white flag and saying, we're not going to solve this right now, but let's not let it ruin our day.
Yeah.
It's a great way to maintain harmony, especially in social situations where you don't want to start World War III over something trivial.
Right, exactly. It's about picking your battles.
Right.
Recognizing that sometimes it's better to agree to disagree than to force a resolution that might damage the relationship.
Yeah, some things just aren't worth it.
Exactly.
Okay. This next one seems like it's straight out of like a 90s teen movie. Here it is. I'm down for that. Does anyone actually still say that?
It might have peaked in popularity back in the 90s, but it's still around. You'll hear it, especially among younger generations.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a really casual and enthusiastic way to express interest or agreement, particularly when it comes to social activities.
So it's like a cooler, more laid-back way of saying, I'm in, or count me in. It captures that sense of spontaneity and excitement, right?
It conveys a sense of, you're up for anything, ready for an adventure.
Okay, let's talk about those moments when we want to, kind of keep our options open. I'm talking about let's play it by ear. I feel like this is the perfect phrase for those who don't like to plan too far in advance.
Yeah, totally. You're absolutely right. It's basically saying, hey, let's see how things go, or we'll decide later. It's perfect for situations where you want to be flexible, adapt to changing circumstances.
It's like embracing the unknown and being open to spontaneity, which is a great way to live life, I think. So if someone asks about your weekend plans and you're not quite sure yet, let's play by ear is a great way to keep things casual.
Yeah.
Avoid making promises you might not be able to keep.
Exactly.
This next one always makes me smile. I'll take a rain check. It sounds so quaint.
It's kind of old-fashioned, yeah.
Like something out of a vintage movie or something. Is there a story behind this phrase?
Yeah, actually there is. It goes all the way back to the 1800s.
Wow.
So baseball games would often get postponed because of rain,
Right.
And they would give these tickets, they call them rain checks, to spectators so they could attend a future game.
Wow, I had no idea. So it evolved from an actual ticket to a way of saying, I can't make it now, but I would love to reschedule. That's fascinating how language evolves over time, taking on new meanings, but it's still holding on to a bit of its history.
Yeah, I love that about language.
Okay, all right. I have a confession to make. I use this next phrase a lot, especially when I'm trying to gently let someone down easy. I wouldn't count on it. You know, it's a way of expressing doubt without being too harsh.
Yeah, you got it. It's a subtle way to manage expectations.
Right.
Prepare someone for the possibility that something might not go their way.
So if a friend is overly optimistic about winning the lottery, for example, you could use this phrase to, temper their expectations without crushing their dreams. It's like saying, hey, I admire your optimism, but let's be realistic here.
Exactly, yeah. Just inject a dose of realism.
Okay, we're about to enter the world of business English, which, that can be a whole different ballgame.
Oh, yeah, it's a whole other beast.
We're starting with let's touch base. I always picture a very awkward high five when I hear this phrase.
Right, yeah. It does conjure up some amusing imagery. But in the business world, it's a very common way of saying, let's check in or, let's follow up later. Usually you're scheduling a future conversation and you're going to talk about, some specific topic, usually related to a project, some ongoing work.
So if you're working on a project with someone, you might say, hey, let's touch base next week, to see how things are progressing.
Exactly, yeah. It's a way to stay connected, ensure everyone's on the same page.
It's all about that communication, right? Keeping those lines open.
Yeah. Key phrase for effective communication, for collaboration in those professional settings. It keeps projects moving forward, prevents those misunderstandings.
Okay, this next one is for all the busy bees out there. This is, I'll keep you posted. It's like the promise that you make when you know you're going to be swamped with work, but you still want to assure someone. Like, hey, I haven't forgotten about you.
Yeah, it's about managing expectations. It's often used when someone is waiting for news, maybe about a decision or an outcome or something. It's just a nice way of keeping them in the loop.
So if someone's eagerly awaiting an update on a project proposal, you could use this phrase to let them know, hey, I'm thinking about you. I haven't forgotten about you. I'll share information as soon as I have it.
Exactly.
It's all about maintaining that open line of communication.
Yes, transparency and building trust, which is crucial in any professional relationship.
Okay, speaking of being overwhelmed, let's talk about I'm swamped. Pretty clear signal that you've got a lot on your plate, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a very direct way of saying, hey, I am super busy. I have very limited capacity to take on anything else right now.
So if someone asks you to take on another project, when you're already juggling multiple deadlines, I'm swamped.
Yeah.
Is a way to, to set a boundary and protect your time without sounding, rude or dismissive.
Absolutely.
It's about being honest about your workload and setting those realistic expectations.
Yes, it's about prioritizing managing your time effectively, which is, essential for maintaining productivity and avoiding burnout.
Right. Nobody wants to burn out.
Nobody.
This next phrase sounds a bit intimidating. That's not going to fly. I can almost hear it being delivered with like a stern look and a wagging finger,
It can have that tone, you're not wrong, but it just indicates that something is unacceptable. It's not going to be approved.
When someone proposes an idea that's completely out of line with, company policy or, ethical standards or something, you could use this phrase to just shut it down quickly and firmly.
Yeah. It's like, nice try, but that's a hard no.
Exactly.
Yeah. It establishes clear boundaries and it just prevents wasting time on ideas that are just not feasible or appropriate.
We've covered a lot of ground already, but I feel like there's still so much more to explore.
There is, yeah.
These everyday phrases is like they're little windows into like the heart of English communication,
Yeah.
They reveal so much about the culture and those subtle nuances of social interaction. It's fascinating.
It really is. Language is a constantly evolving tapestry, and by delving into these everyday expressions, I think we can gain a deeper understanding of how people connect and communicate in the real world.
Well, I'm having a lot of fun, but I think we should probably take a little pause right here.
I agree.
Catch our breath, and we'll be back in a jiffy to dive into the next set of phrases.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be back soon with part 2.
Welcome back to our deep dive into these intricate everyday English phrases. It's amazing how much we can learn about a culture by examining the way people speak. Wouldn't you say?
I totally agree. It's fascinating. I feel like we've uncovered so many little hidden gems, these little phrases that, native speakers just use without even thinking about it. But they can be a little tricky if you're learning English, It's like we're cracking some kind of secret code, to unlock those secrets to fluent communication. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. We're really getting into those subtle nuances and the cultural context that give these phrases their true meaning.
Right.
And speaking of subtle nuances, let's jump back in with a phrase that I thought was really interesting. It's a long shot, but what do you think about that one? It's a pretty curious mix of optimism and realism, isn't it?
It is. It's like acknowledging that, yeah, the odds might be stacked against you, but you're still holding on to a little bit of hope.
Right.
I wonder, do you think this reflects like maybe something about like the American mindset, that whole can-do spirit, even when faced with, big challenges?
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. It could definitely be seen as a reflection of that, that perseverance and determination that are often associated with American culture. It's about not giving up, even when the chances of success seem really, really slim.
Right, right. So if you're like applying for a dream job, for example,
Yeah.
you know, and like hundreds of other people are applying for the same job, you might say, well, it's a long shot, but I'm going to give it my all.
Yeah.
You know, you're acknowledging the reality, but you're still holding on to that belief in possibilities. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a delicate balance. You're acknowledging your limitations,
Yeah.
but you're still maintaining that sense of hope.
Yeah.
And that you have, some control over the situation.
Right. Okay, this next phrase feels like a universal disclaimer. It's got a get out of jail free card. I'm talking about, don't quote me on that. It's like a shield to protect yourself from being held accountable for information that might not be, 100% accurate.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
I feel like I hear this a lot when people are sharing, gossip or rumors or stuff like that.
Yeah, you're right. It's often used in situations where the information is a bit, shaky, maybe unreliable.
Right.
And it's basically saying, hey, I'm passing this along, but don't take it as gospel. You can share information without fully endorsing its validity.
So it's kind of a way of navigating those, those gray areas where you're not really sure about the facts, but you still want to, be part of the conversation. I guess it's also a way to protect yourself from, getting in trouble if the information turns out to be wrong.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It can definitely save you some awkwardness down the line.
Okay, giving advice. Giving advice can be tricky. It's like a real art form.
Yeah.
It's all about finding that sweet spot between, being helpful, but also not coming across as like bossy or, like a know-it-all.
Right.
And I think this next phrase strikes that balance beautifully. It's, you might want to. It's gentle, suggestive, not confrontational. I love it.
Yeah, it's like a masterclass in indirect communication. It allows you to offer a suggestion without sounding bossy or judgmental. It gives the other person that power to make their own decision. They're still benefiting from your perspective.
So if you see, a friend, for example, maybe they're, heading down a path that you think might not be, the best choice, you say, hey, you might want to, consider some other options. You're planting a seed, but you're not like, dictating their actions.
Exactly. Yeah. It's respecting their autonomy while still, trying to provide some guidance and support.
Okay. This next phrase, this is like my all-time favorite excuse. It's my go-to for just about anything. I'm talking about it's not worth the hassle. Whether it's, returning a faulty item or like tackling some complicated chore, this is my justification for just taking the easy route every time.
I'm sure we've all used it to, rationalize a decision or two.
No, for sure.
But on a deeper level, I think it reflects a very practical approach to problem solving. You're weighing the effort against the potential reward and you're deciding, is it really worth my time and energy?
So it's not always about laziness.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's about being strategic.
Yeah. And choosing your battles wisely. Sometimes it's just easier to let things go than to get all bogged down in unnecessary stress.
Right. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay. Life is full of uncertainties. And sometimes the best way to deal with them is to just, wait and see how things unfold. And this next phrase captures that beautifully. Here it is. Let's cross that bridge when we come to it. I love that.
Yeah, that's a great one.
It's so visual.
It is. It's a brilliant strategy for managing anxiety, avoiding all that unnecessary worry. You're basically saying that, yeah, there might be some potential problems down the road, but let's not dwell on them now before they even happen.
It's about staying present.
Right? Yeah.
And focusing on what you can control in the moment, which I think is great advice. So if you're planning, like a huge event or something and someone starts, freaking out about all these possible things that could go wrong, you could say, hey, let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah.
It's a way of saying, let's just enjoy the planning process and not get bogged down in all these hypothetical worries.
Exactly. You said it perfectly.
Okay. And this next one's a classic. It's how to deflect responsibility when you are truly powerless. There's nothing you can do. That's out of my hands. That's like the ultimate escape route,
It is. And sometimes it's totally necessary. Sometimes there really are situations where you have absolutely no control over the outcome, But it can also be a way of just being honest about your limitations and kind of pointing people in the right direction.
Right, to the person who can actually help them.
Exactly.
So if someone's asking you for a favor that, you just can't do, or like asking you for information you don't have, you can use this phrase to, politely decline. Yeah. You're not making excuses. You're not obligated to do something that you just can't do. It's about setting those healthy boundaries, being upfront about your capabilities.
100%. Managing expectations and just being honest. That's what it's all about.
All right, this next phrase has a very, very Zen vibe to it. It is what it is.
Aw.
It's the ultimate expression of acceptance, right?
Yeah.
You're surrendering to the reality of a situation, even if it's not, your ideal situation.
Right, you're letting go of that resistance.
Right.
It's a really powerful statement, I think. It reflects a real understanding that, life is impermanent, things change, and some things are beyond our control, and, fighting against them just creates more suffering, so let it go.
So if you're faced with, maybe a big setback or like a disappointment, you can use this phrase to just acknowledge the reality of what's happening without getting all, caught up in, negativity or resentment. It's about letting go, moving forward.
Yeah, finding peace and acceptance, even in the midst of life's ups and downs,
It's hard sometimes, but yeah, it's a good goal. Okay, this next phrase sounds like something you'd hear like after a playful mishap on like a basketball court, No harm, no foul.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, just letting go of those little transgressions, keeping that atmosphere light,
Yeah, you just want to quickly diffuse the situation. Maybe someone's made a mistake or unintentionally offended someone.
Right.
And you're just letting them know, hey, I'm not holding a grudge.
Right, water under the bridge.
Exactly.
So if you bump into someone accidentally or make, maybe a clumsy social blunder or something, you can say, no harm, no foul. You're just putting everyone at ease, and it prevents that unnecessary awkwardness.
Absolutely. It's like that verbal reset button, It's like, hey, it's okay to make mistakes. We're all human here.
Right, we all mess up sometimes. Okay, we've made it to the final section. We're talking about ending conversations gracefully. These next few phrases, they're all about saying goodbye without, sounding abrupt or rude. Let's start with a classic. I use this one all the time. It's gotta run. You just want to make a quick exit.
It's a great one. It's versatile.
Yeah.
It conveys that sense of urgency,
Yeah.
But it keeps a friendly tone, and it lets the other person know, hey, I've got to go, but I really enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, so if you're in the middle of a conversation and suddenly realize, oh, shoot, I'm running late, you could say, gotta run. It was so great chatting with you. It's brief, it's polite, it gets the job done.
It does, yeah. It lets you make that graceful exit without, seeming dismissive or disinterested.
Right. And if you want to keep the connection going, keep that door open, you could just add a little, keep in touch. It's just a reminder that, hey, this isn't the end. Just a pause.
Yeah, it's like a little promise for future interaction.
Exactly right. Like saying, hey, I enjoyed this, and I look forward to connecting with you again sometime soon. Okay, here's a more informal way. It's catch you later.
Yeah.
That's like, the cool kids' way of saying goodbye,
Yeah.
It implies that you'll see each other again soon.
Yeah, it's great for, friends or people who see each other pretty regularly. It conveys that sense of familiarity and camaraderie, It's like, this isn't really goodbye. It's just, see you later.
It's like saying, hey, we'll be hanging out again soon, so no need for a formal farewell.
Exactly.
Okay, how about this one? Take it easy.
That sounds a little bit more relaxed. It's kind of like a reminder to, chill out and enjoy life a little bit. It can definitely have that meaning, but it can also just be like a general well-wishing,
Right.
It's kind of like have a good day or take care, but less formal.
Yeah. It's a very versatile phrase, I think. It conveys that sense of like, goodwill and warmth.
Yeah.
You can say it to a friend who's like stressed out, a colleague who's heading home after a long day, even like, a stranger on the street.
Exactly. It's like this subtle way to spread a little positivity and leave a good impression.
Okay, and finally we have like the classic all-purpose goodbye that works in any situation. You can never go wrong with this one. It's have a good one. Simple, friendly, always appropriate.
The gold standard of goodbyes.
Right. It's a way of wishing someone well, but without, being too specific, right?
Yeah.
You can use it for friends, family, colleagues, even strangers. It's like a little verbal high five. Leaves everyone feeling good.
Exactly. Ending the interaction on a positive note. Spreading some good vibes. I love it.
Wow. I can't believe how much ground we've covered in this part. It's amazing how much we can learn about a culture by just looking at, how people use everyday language.
It is. It's really a fascinating journey. And I think, by exploring these subtle nuances and the cultural context behind all these phrases, we can understand so much better how people connect and communicate in the real world.
Well, we're not done yet, right? We've got one more part to go. Stay tuned for part 3, where we're going to wrap it all up and we're going to give you some practical tips, some actionable advice on how to actually integrate these phrases into your everyday conversations. All right, welcome back, everyone. We are back for the grand finale. We've been on this deep dive trying to sound more like a native English speaker.
That's right. And we've gone through this incredible list of everyday phrases, peeling back the layers and looking at the culture, the meaning. But I think now's the fun part. Now's the time to actually use them, right?
Right. But that's the thing, it's one thing to understand them, to kind of get it, but it's a whole nother thing to actually use them naturally,
Absolutely.
Without sounding like I'm reading from a script.
Exactly.
Do you have any tips? How do we weave these phrases into our conversations and make them sound, seamless, effortless?
Yeah, I think it all boils down to two things: context and confidence.
Okay.
Each phrase has its place. It's got a specific vibe. It's kind of like choosing the right tool for the job,
Right.
You don't want to use a hammer when you need a screwdriver.
Okay, so let's play a little game.
Okay.
I'm going to throw out a scenario, and you tell me which phrase we talked about would be a good fit.
I'm game. Let's do it.
Okay, so imagine you're at a networking event.
Yeah.
And someone's pitching you this business idea, and it sounds a little too good to be true. You know what I mean?
I've been there, yeah.
You want to be polite, of course, but you also want to signal, hey, I'm a little skeptical here.
Uh-huh.
What phrase would you use?
Oh, I think, I wouldn't count on it would fit perfectly there.
Okay, yeah.
You're conveying that doubt, but you're not, being rude or dismissive. You're basically saying, hey, this is interesting, but I'm going to need a little more convincing.
I like it. Subtle but effective.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this one? You're hanging out with friends, and they suggest trying this new restaurant. But you've heard mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people hate it.
Yep.
So you're open to trying it, but you're not super enthusiastic. What would you say?
Oh, that's easy. Let's play it by ear.
Yes.
It shows that you're willing to go with the flow,
Right.
See how things turn out. It takes the pressure off having to, make a firm decision.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm up for an adventure, but, we'll see what happens. Okay, last one. You're in a meeting. Your boss asks you to take on this huge project, but you are swamped. You've got way too much on your plate already.
Oh, I know that feeling.
So you've got to set a boundary, but you don't want to sound, negative or like you're not a team player.
Right.
What's the magic phrase?
Okay. In that situation, I would probably say, I'm swamped.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's direct, but it's polite. You're basically saying, look, I would love to help, but I've got way too much going on right now.
It's about being honest, right?
Yeah.
And not overcommitting yourself.
Exactly.
That's a great example of how these phrases can really help us navigate sometimes tricky situations, especially in the workplace. But, it's not just about work, right? We can use these phrases everywhere.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Whether you're chatting with friends, negotiating a deal, just making small talk, these are the phrases that make you sound like a natural, fluent English speaker.
So, okay, this is something I've been wondering about, and maybe you can clarify this for me and our listeners. What about slang? We've talked about all these everyday phrases, but what about, those super casual expressions, the ones that native speakers use all the time? Do those fit into all this too?
That's a great question. Slang can be tricky, right? It's always changing. It can be different in different places, and it's very age-specific too. But the phrases we've been looking at today, they're more like those timeless classics. They're the foundation, the kind of phrases that you can use in any situation, and they'll always be relevant.
So you're saying, once we've got these down, then we can start, experimenting a little with slang.
Yeah, exactly. It's like building a house. You start with a strong foundation, and then you can add those, decorative flourishes later.
That's a great analogy. I love that. Okay, so the best way to learn slang, I guess, is to really immerse yourself in the culture.
Yeah. Watch movies, listen to music, talk to native speakers, and pay attention to how they're using language.
Right.
It's like this never-ending adventure. There's always something new to discover.
Okay, I like that. But it's not just about memorizing a bunch of phrases, right?
No.
It's about understanding the meaning, the feeling, the context, all that stuff.
Yeah, you got it. It's about developing like an intuition for the language, how it works, how it flows, how it connects us to each other. It's more than just speaking. It's about connecting with the culture.
The humor, the way people express themselves, the whole shebang.
Exactly. It's about becoming part of that conversation, sharing ideas, building relationships, just experiencing the world through this whole new lens.
Well said. I think we've covered a lot of ground today in this deep dive. We've given you, what, 29 powerful phrases that are going to boost your fluency.
Yeah.
But the real journey starts now, right?
It does. Now it's time to go out there and practice, experiment, have fun with it, and don't be afraid to make mistakes, The more you use these, the more natural they'll become.
Who knows? You might even invent a few phrases of your own.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of language. It's this living, breathing thing. It's always changing.
Okay, so to all of our listeners out there, it's time to conquer this world of English conversation.
You got this.
Embrace the challenge, enjoy the process, and remember, the most important thing is to connect, communicate, and share your unique voice with the world.
And on that note, that's a wrap.
All right, so we're diving into English conversation skills today. And you guys know I love getting your input. So you sent over this script, which is basically like a crash course in 29 common sentences.
Yeah.
The kind that can really make you sound like a natural.
Yeah.
So we're not going to just read them off a list, though, right?
Definitely not. The fun is in the details, right? These phrases may seem simple at first glance,
Right.
but there's a lot more to them than meets the eye. We'll be looking at the cultural nuances and, maybe some alternative ways to express the same idea, and even situations where one choice might be better than another.
I see. Okay, so let's take long time no see, for example. That one always throws me off a bit. Is it too casual for like a work colleague you haven't seen in a while?
That's a great example, and it shows how context is key. Long time no see, it's very informal, almost slangy. While it's perfectly fine with friends, for a colleague, maybe it's been a while, would sound a bit more professional.
Yeah, that makes sense. So instead of going through all 29 one by one, maybe we could group them by themes.
Absolutely. Let's start with a group that's essential for, navigating everyday life, making plans, and asking for directions. Imagine you've just moved to a new city.
Oh, yeah.
These phrases become your survival kit.
I can totally relate to that.
Oh, yeah.
When I first moved abroad, even asking for directions felt like climbing Mount Everest.
I bet. So the script starts with, "Are you free this weekend?" Now, on the surface, this seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But have you noticed that in some cultures, it can actually be considered a little rude to be so direct?
Oh, you're so right. I've definitely put my foot in my mouth a few times trying to be casual.
Yeah, it happens. So instead of asking directly if they're free, you could say something like, "I was wondering if you might be interested in grabbing coffee sometime this weekend." It just sounds less demanding and gives the other person an easy out if they're not interested.
That's a really good tip. It's all about finding that balance between being clear and being considerate.
Exactly. Now, another phrase in the making plans theme is, "Let me check my schedule." This one's great. Gives you a moment to think before committing.
Oh, it's like a get out of jail free card for people like me who overcommit.
Exactly. But I wonder if it can also sound a bit evasive sometimes.
That's an interesting point. It probably depends on how you say it, right?
Exactly. If you genuinely need to check your calendar, it's fine. But if you're using it as an excuse to avoid plans, people might pick up on that.
So authenticity is key.
Got it.
Got it. All right, let's say we've made plans to meet up. What if we get lost on the way?
Well, the script suggests, "Could you give me directions?" Simple, polite gets the job done. But think about your delivery, too. Looking genuinely lost, maybe adding a "I'm new in town" can get you extra help.
I've definitely used that trick before. And what about those reassuring phrases like, "It's just around the corner"?
Music to a lost traveler's ears. But be warned, just around the corner can be relative. What's close for one person might be a 10-minute walk for another.
Oh, so true. It's all about managing expectations.
Right. And finally, we have, "I'll be there in 10 minutes." Seems straightforward, but even here there are cultural differences. In some places, punctuality is crucial, while in others, 10 minutes is more of a suggestion.
Fascinating. So even a simple phrase like that can reveal a lot about cultural norms.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm ready for a new theme. How about we explore some phrases you might use at a restaurant or cafe? I'm always curious about the etiquette around ordering food in different cultures.
Excellent choice. This is where things can get really interesting. Let's dive in. Okay, so imagine you're at this, bustling restaurant. The menu is like a novel, and you have no idea what to get.
Oh, I've totally been there. In those moments, I always resort to, "Do you have any recommendations?" It's a lifesaver when you're just overwhelmed with choices.
Right. It's a classic for a reason. And it's not just about getting a good meal. It's also a way to connect with the server. Show that you value their opinion.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In some cultures, that personal touch can actually lead to better service.
Interesting. So it's like you're inviting them to share their insider knowledge.
Exactly. Now, let's say you got a little carried away and ordered way too much food.
Happens to the best of us.
The script suggests, can I get this to go? But it made me think about how takeout culture is so different around the world.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I have noticed that some cultures seem to be more into takeout than others.
Right. It's fascinating, right? In some cultures, meals are really seen as social events, meant to be shared and enjoyed with company. So asking for a doggy bag might be considered kind of rude.
Oh, wow. I never thought about that. It's amazing how even a simple phrase like, can I get this to go, can have so much cultural baggage.
Absolutely. And speaking of cultural differences, whether you dine in or take out a nice service was great, can go a long way.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in positive feedback. It can really make someone's day.
It really can. But I also wonder if sometimes a more specific compliment might be even better.
Oh, you're right. Like instead of just saying, great service, you could mention something specific that you appreciated.
Exactly. Like their attentiveness or, their knowledge of the menu.
Okay. Mental note main. Now, let's say you're dining with a friend and they order something that looks absolutely incredible.
Ah, the classic. I'll have the same. This one's all about efficiency, right? Avoiding decision fatigue.
For sure.
But it can also be a subtle way to compliment your friend's taste.
I love that. It's like a silent thumbs up. Okay, I think I'm ready to tackle a slightly trickier theme. Expressing opinions and feelings. This is where I think a lot of language learners, myself included, sometimes struggle.
It's definitely an area where nuance is super important. Even small changes in phrasing can make a big difference.
Yeah, the script starts with, to be honest, I don't like it. Adding that, to be honest, always feels like it softens the blow a bit.
It does. It's a good way to introduce a dissenting opinion without sounding too harsh. But it's interesting because in some cultures, directness is valued more. So being too indirect might actually be seen as insincere.
That's a good point. So if we're in a situation where directness is appreciated, how could we express disagreement without that, to be honest, buffer?
You could try something like, I see your point, but I have a different perspective. It acknowledges their viewpoint, but still clearly states your own.
Okay, I like that. It's direct, but still respectful.
Yeah.
What about when we want to express agreement?
Well, the script suggests that's a good point, which is a great way to acknowledge someone's contribution to the conversation.
Yeah, it shows you're listening and engaged.
Exactly. And if you're feeling really enthusiastic about someone's idea, there's always, I couldn't agree more.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But sometimes things aren't so clear-cut. What do you say when there's no easy answer?
It depends on the situation. Is your friend in those cases? It allows for nuance, and avoids generalizations.
It's so true. Okay, so we've talked about opinions and feelings. Now, what about those phrases that are essential for keeping the conversation flowing smoothly? Everyday small talk.
Ah, small talk, the social lubricant. It's all about finding common ground and keeping the tone light. The script suggests starting with, how's your day going?
Yeah, it's simple, but it works.
Yeah.
It shows you're interested.
Right. But it's interesting because in some cultures, it's really more of a greeting than an actual question.
So you wouldn't necessarily go into a whole spiel about your day.
Not really. A simple good thanks is usually enough. But in other cultures, it is an invitation to share a bit more.
It's like you have to read the room and adapt your response.
Exactly. Now, what about those moments when you didn't quite catch what someone said? Those awkward silences?
Oh, yeah.
The script recommends, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it? It's clear and polite.
Definitely. But I've noticed that sometimes people are afraid to ask for clarification, even if they didn't understand.
Yeah, I think there's a fear of sounding, stupid or something. But it's so much better to ask than to pretend you understood.
Oh, absolutely. Clarity is key. So let's say someone apologizes for something minor. A quick, no worries can really smooth things over.
It's casual but effective. It shows you're not offended.
Right. And no problem is another common one, especially in American English.
That's true. Both work well in informal settings, but in more formal situations, you might want to use something like, that's quite all right.
Good to know. Right. What about when you're feeling indecisive or you want to let the other person choose?
It's up to you. Simple but effective. It shows you're flexible.
Yeah. It's a lifesaver when you can't make up your mind. But I wonder if using it too often can make you seem a bit passive.
That's a good observation. If you say it all the time, it might give the impression that you don't really care.
So like with most things in life, it's all about finding the right balance.
Exactly. Now, how about we shift gears and look at some phrases that are helpful for handling problems and giving advice?
Okay, yeah, this is a big one. It can be tricky to find the right words, to offer support without overstepping boundaries.
Right. It's a delicate balance.
So we've really gone in depth with these 29 phrases, haven't we? Looking at them from all angles. But, zooming out for a second, what does it really mean to master these sentences for someone who wants to become a more confident English speaker?
It's like we've been building this toolbox, right? Filling it with all these carefully chosen tools for different conversational situations. But the real skill is knowing which tool to use when and how to use it effectively.
So it's not just about memorizing the phrases. It's about understanding, the nuances of when and how to use them appropriately.
Exactly. Like learning a musical instrument. You start with scales and exercises, but the goal is to play beautiful music, to express yourself freely and creatively.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So these 29 phrases are like our scales, building blocks for something much bigger.
Exactly. And just like with music, practice makes perfect those bad. The more you use these phrases in real conversations, the more natural they will become. You'll start to internalize the rhythm of the language.
It's about reaching that point where you're not translating in your head anymore. You're just thinking and speaking in English.
Exactly. And as you get more comfortable with the basics, you can start to experiment. Add your own personality to your communication. That's where it gets really fun.
It's like taking those basic dance steps and then creating your own choreography.
Yeah.
But I think there's a fear factor for a lot of language learners, right? The fear of making mistakes, of sounding awkward.
Of course. It's totally normal to feel that way. But remember, everyone makes mistakes when they're learning something new. The key is to see those mistakes as opportunities to learn.
So it's about shifting our mindset from fear of failure to, a love of learning.
Absolutely. And surround yourself with the language. Watch movies, listen to music, read books, even try singing along to English songs.
It's like training your ear to the sounds of the language. I've also found that shadowing can be really helpful. Repeating phrases and dialogues from native speakers.
Oh, shadowing is a great technique. It helps with fluency pronunciation, even those subtle things like intonation.
It's like learning from a master chef by watching and imitating.
Exactly. And remember, language learning is a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs, frustrations and triumphs. The important thing is to enjoy the process, to stay curious, and never stop exploring.
Well said. I think we've covered a lot of ground today, from dissecting individual phrases to talking about the bigger picture of language learning. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
Embrace the challenge. Celebrate the small wins. And never be afraid to make mistakes. Most importantly, have fun.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into English conversation. Happy learning, everyone.
All right, let's dive into this. We've got 3 podcast scripts you sent over, and they're all about helping you, level up your conversational English skills. But for this deep dive, I think it would be cool to focus on that beginner script, really unpack what makes those simple phrases so powerful.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start. What's interesting to me is how these phrases, even though they're basic, they could really be like a key.
Right.
Like unlocking confidence for new English speakers. I like this framework for navigating everyday situations.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The script kicks off with greetings and politeness, the classics. Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you and all that. Are these really the keys to making a good first impression? I mean, they seem pretty straightforward.
Oh, they absolutely are. You see these greetings, they're more than just words. They're like cultural cues that, hello, how are you? It's a friendly way to just acknowledge someone, but it's not always a literal question about their well-being,
So it's more about setting a friendly tone than actually expecting like a detailed rundown of how someone's feeling.
Exactly. The expected response is usually something short and sweet, like, I'm fine, thank you. And you? It's kind of like a social dance, showing you're engaged and you're reciprocating that polite gesture.
Gotcha. Now, I noticed the script also includes, please help me. It seems so simple, but I can see how that would be so valuable, especially in a new environment.
Absolutely. Imagine being lost or needing help, That phrase cuts through any language barrier. You're communicating urgency and the need for assistance in a way that's pretty much universally understood.
Yeah, it's like having a lifeline, a safety net in your back pocket. And speaking of feeling a bit lost, there's another gem here. Excuse me, where's the bathroom? I can't tell you how many times I've wished I knew that phrase when traveling.
It's funny, right? How such a basic need can sometimes become the biggest communication hurdle. But this phrase isn't just practical. It also shows respect for social norms.
Yeah.
You're politely acknowledging that you need help, which can go a long way, making a good impression.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've covered greetings and those help me moments. Let's move on to a scenario that I think can be both exciting and nerve-wracking, shopping and eating out.
Oh, yeah. So many interactions happen in those spaces.
Right. And not always with people who speak our native language. The script highlights some real gems for navigating these transactions, like starting with, how much is this?
Oh, yeah. That one I feel like I'd use constantly. But I'm curious, beyond just asking the price, what does that phrase actually achieve in a transactional context?
It's more than just getting information. It shows you're actively engaging in that transaction. You're not just assuming a price or fumbling with a currency converter or something. It demonstrates a level of comfort and understanding of the process. It's like you're taking charge a little bit, You're showing that you're ready to participate in that exchange. And this is where, can I pay with a credit card? Comes in handy, right?
Precisely. In many places, assuming you can just pay with a credit card could lead to some awkwardness.
Yeah.
This phrase helps avoid that. It also kind of signals that you understand the common ways to pay in that environment.
It's all about setting clear expectations and avoiding those potential miscommunications. Now, I'm also noticing some phrases that are less about the actual transaction and more about making a connection, like, the food is delicious.
That's a great example. It might seem simple, but it shows appreciation, and it can even spark a conversation. Food is such a universal connector, and expressing that you're enjoying it opens up the possibility for a deeper interaction.
And I love how the script gives an example, too. The pasta is amazing. The food is delicious. It shows how you can build on those basic phrases, sound more fluent, more expressive.
Exactly. You're not just stating a fact, you're conveying enthusiasm. It adds personality to your communication, makes it more engaging for the listener. Plus, it highlights a key point about language learning. It's not just memorizing words, it's about using them with feeling.
All right, so we've mastered greetings, we've found the bathroom, even enjoyed a delicious meal. But now I'm curious about those moments when things get a little tricky, like you just can't understand what someone's saying. The script suggests, I don't understand.
Oh, that phrase is gold.
Yeah.
It's so powerful because it shows humility and a willingness to learn. So many learners get caught up in trying to appear fluent. They're afraid to admit they didn't understand. But this phrase can actually prevent misunderstandings and build trust.
Yeah, it's about prioritizing clear communication over pretending you know everything. And I imagine it's way less embarrassing than just nodding along and hoping for the best.
Absolutely. Plus, it often prompts the other person to rephrase or to simplify their language, which can be so helpful in a learning environment.
It's a way of inviting the other person to meet you halfway, to help bridge that communication gap. Now, shifting gears a bit, I'm intrigued by this seemingly simple phrase, it's a beautiful day. It feels almost too basic, but I can see how it has a purpose.
Right, it seems basic. But think about it. It's a way to acknowledge a shared experience, to find common ground. Whether you're waiting for the bus or striking up a conversation with a shopkeeper, commenting on the weather can open the door to connection.
It's like a social lubricant, a way to break the ice and establish a little bit of camaraderie.
And you'd be surprised how often people respond positively to that kind of simple, positive observation. It can brighten someone's day and make them more receptive to further interaction.
So it's not just about commenting on the weather, it's about creating a positive vibe and signaling that you're open to connecting.
Exactly. It's a subtle way of saying, hey, we're both here. Let's acknowledge this shared moment.
Okay, before we move on to making plans and exploring the city, let's talk about emergencies. The script includes phrases like, I need help, and call the police, which are obviously crucial. But I'm wondering if you could talk about their importance specifically in a language learning context.
Well, imagine being in a situation where you desperately need help, but you can't articulate it. That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
These phrases are essential because they cut through any language barrier. They communicate a clear need for assistance in a way that's, well, universally understood.
Yeah, it's like having a safety net, knowing that you can express a critical need, even if you're struggling with other vocabulary. And I don't feel well kind of falls into that same category, right?
Absolutely. Even if you can't explain the specifics of your ailment, that phrase allows you to communicate a basic need. It's like a starting point for getting the help you need.
It's about empowering yourself to advocate for your well-being, even in a language you're still learning.
Exactly. And it highlights the importance of focusing on those core phrases that can make a real difference in challenging situations.
Yeah, it's really about having those essential communication tools, the ones that can get you through a tough spot.
Okay, so we've covered greetings, navigated some tricky situations, even enjoyed a delicious meal. Now let's imagine we're ready to explore a bit, make some plans. This is where things get really interesting, I think, especially when you're in a new environment.
Absolutely. And the script gives us a great starting point. Let's go to the park.
I love how direct and simple that is. It's a clear invitation. But I'm curious, what makes that phrase more effective than just saying, I want to go to the park?
Well, let's go to the park is inclusive. It's an invitation to a shared experience, like suggesting you want to do something together. It's more likely to be received well because it emphasizes that togetherness.
Yeah, it's like you're extending a hand, inviting someone to join you on an adventure. It definitely feels more collaborative and friendly. Exactly. That subtle difference in phrasing can really impact how your message comes across.
For sure. Of course, sometimes adventures take unexpected turns and we find ourselves a bit lost. That's where, "Can you show me the way?" comes in handy.
Oh, that's a classic. And it highlights how important it is to be able to ask for help clearly and directly. You're not just saying you're lost, you're actively seeking guidance.
You're taking initiative. It's about acknowledging that you need help and trusting others to help you find your way. And once we've mastered navigating the city, it's time to connect with people and make some plans. I see the script includes, "What are you doing this weekend?" A classic for a reason, right?
It's a classic because it works. That open-ended question, it invites the other person to share their plans, which can lead to, well, all sorts of interesting conversations and potential shared experiences.
Yeah, it's a fantastic conversation starter. It shows genuine interest in the other person's life, and it opens the door to discovering common interests.
Yeah, sometimes those casual questions lead to the most meaningful connections.
Absolutely. Speaking of connections, let's dive into the section on casual conversations. I'm particularly interested in the phrase, "What do you do?" It's a staple in so many cultures, but it's not always as straightforward as it seems.
You're right. In some cultures, asking about someone's profession might be seen as too personal for an initial conversation. But in many English-speaking contexts, it's a perfectly acceptable way to learn more about someone.
It's like a shortcut to understanding someone's world a little bit, their daily life and their passions. And it often sparks those follow-up questions, those deeper conversations.
Exactly. It can lead to discussions about hobbies, interests, even shared career aspirations.
Shifting gears a bit, I'm drawn to a phrase that really captures those moments of shared joy. I love this song.
Isn't that a great one? Music is such a powerful connector. And expressing your enthusiasm for a particular song can instantly create a bond with someone.
It's like a way of saying, hey, we have this in common. We're vibing on the same wavelength. And it can lead to conversations about, favorite bands, concerts, musical memories. It's amazing how such a simple phrase can unlock so much shared experience.
It speaks to the power of music as a universal language, a way to connect across cultures and generations.
Okay, let's imagine a scenario where we're in a crowded cafe and we want to join a friend. The script suggests using, "Can I sit here?"
This is all about showing respect for personal space and social etiquette.
Yeah.
It's a polite way to ask permission before taking a seat, acknowledging that space might already be occupied or reserved for someone else.
It's a small gesture, but it can make a huge difference in social interactions, shows consideration for others, and avoids any potential awkwardness.
And it models good manners for those around you, especially if you're in a new environment and want to make a good impression.
Now, for a bit of fun, I see the script includes, "Let's take a selfie." I love how this captures that modern desire to document shared experiences, to create memories.
It's a playful way to commemorate a moment, create a lasting visual reminder of a shared experience. Plus, it's a fun way to practice those natural-sounding casual phrases.
It's all about embracing those lighthearted moments and capturing that joy of connection. And speaking of connections, eventually we need to know how to wrap things up gracefully. The script offers some classic farewells, "Have a nice day," and "Talk to you later."
Those phrases are essential for signaling the end of a conversation in a polite and positive way. They leave the other person feeling respected and acknowledged, even as the interaction comes to a close.
Yeah, it's like putting a nice little bow on it, You leave a good impression and keep that door open for future conversation.
Right. Shows you value that interaction and you're leaving things on a good note.
So we started with greetings, then navigated some tricky situations, made some plans, had a few laughs, even learned to say goodbye politely. It's amazing how much ground we covered just looking at these, 29 sentences.
And that's really the big takeaway here, isn't it? You don't need to be like fluent to start connecting with people.
Yeah.
You don't have to master the whole language before you can handle everyday situations. These phrases, they might seem simple, but they're so powerful. They can really help you build confidence and open up all kinds of new experiences.
I keep thinking back to the listener and their goal to gain that conversational confidence quickly. And these phrases they're almost like a cheat sheet, a fast track to feeling more comfortable in English-speaking environments.
And what's really cool about this script is it's not just a list of phrases. It gives you context. It gives you examples. It even encourages learners to build on those basic phrases and really sound more natural, more like themselves.
It's like a springboard, right? It gives you the foundation, and then you can jump off and get more creative with the language as your confidence grows.
Exactly. Start with the basics, and you can go anywhere from there.
So, to our listener who's ready to jump into conversational English, I say, print out those 29 sentences, practice them, really make them your own.
Don't be afraid to try them out in real life, even if it feels a little awkward at first. Every time you interact with someone, you're learning. And the more you practice, the more comfortable you'll get.
Remember, language learning, it's a journey. It's not about reaching some finish line. It's about those moments of connection, the stumbles along the way, the little victories.
So start using those 29 phrases and see what happens. How can they help you connect with people, navigate new places? How can they help you express yourself more confidently? That's what we want you to think about.